Everyone, please bring alive! Emergency. Batman speaking. Warning all of you to brace yourselves for big news.
Seriously, I really do not like.
Batman, it's really exciting.
No.
Soon, very soon, Batman and I will be battle-pelting right out of your TV set.
This is so kitsch. This is Adam West and Burt Ward in the original original Batman back in the 60s, and that was from the 1966 movie.
This is the 1966 movie, right?
Yeah, that was the trailer from the 1966. Look, okay, we're going to show you again. Look.
The big screen gives us more space on land, sea, and in the air.
It's so, look, my face. I love
Look at that.
Catwoman, look, Penguin, Riddler, and the Joker. Oh, God. Look, seriously, we need to just stop right now. I can't continue this. So we're talking about, we're sort of it's not really going to be a movie night because obviously we can't all sit here all night and just go through all the movies. Dwayne and I can, but I don't think you guys could do it with us. Also, I guess we do need to sleep sometime. So, yeah, I never really got into this, although, really, you know why I loved this? Julie Newmar as Catwoman. That's who they showed briefly. Yeah. I loved Catwoman from the moment I saw Catwoman. And Eartha Kitt played Catwoman for a while, too. But, yeah, it was Julie Newmar. And I don't know if we can see her somewhere, but did you ever watch this?
No, I never did, but I know of it because I've seen, clips.
Right.
And trailers and memes and stuff. I know a bit about it, but never really got into it. I guess it was before my time.
I know, but it's just so kitsch. It's really not this is Julie Newmar, and she was just so cool as Catwoman, just absolutely cool. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, that was Julie Newmar in that time's Batman, like Adam West as Batman. So Julie Newmar was the original Catwoman, but Eartha Kitt was actually Catwoman too, and so people forget that because Catwoman, Halle Berry played Catwoman, which in a much derided movie that I actually love. And they said that Halle Berry was the first, or actually Zoe Kravitz likes to say something like she was the first black Catwoman. Like, mate, sit down. You were not. Halle Berry and Eartha Kitt before you, but anyway.
Yeah, that story was interesting. What a interesting take on the origin of Catwoman. It was more spiritual for Halle Berry.
Oh, yeah, I loved that take.
The spirit of Bast and all that.
Yes. Okay, so this is Batman Day, as you know, if you've been watching our previous shows. But we also do need to talk about Catwoman and her story, because Selena Kyle makes everything worthwhile for me, especially with Batman, and I love Batman. So this is Eartha Kitt, the fantastic Eartha Kitt. And if you don't know Eartha Kitt, you should really go find out more about Eartha Kitt, because she's got some really fantastic things to say. And she speaks like a, what do you mean, darling? I'm perfect, It's just so fantastic. Like, I love Catwoman, but certainly not these. Now, is there anything else we want to show from these clips? So what we're actually going to show you are our favorite clips from the movies that are Batman. So this is Batman Day.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So as if you've watched the previous ones, or if you haven't, if you've just for those who've joined us late. So today, September 16th, with two important things. One, of course, more important than the other, really, and that was that it is Papua New Guinea's Independence Day. Unfortunately, we couldn't get to the Independence Day celebrations because of a series of things that happened to us earlier in the day, which we took as, we're very practical, pragmatic people, but we are also very spiritual in that we're connected to patterns and what nature is and telling us, etc. So we really felt that we were being told that, okay, no, you're not meant to. And that's fine too, because also I don't want it to seem like we're just joining the celebrations that mean so much to a community and a country because they got their independence. I don't want it to be seen like we're just going there for content.
Yeah, sure.
You know, we don't do these things for content. So we had to go do the live because we felt that it was important people saw what was happening. But Independence Day celebrations would have been more traditional things would have been shown, etc. And although we would have liked to show you stalls and you know, craftsmanship and things like that happening, and how are people together and how wonderful it is, the vibe, etc. Yeah, it might perhaps have been a bit, I don't know, just in case. Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find the good in things. You know, that like, okay, there's a reason why we couldn't get there, so maybe it was that. So sorry about that. But we did do other things, and hopefully you enjoyed that video. I absolutely loved your filming of that. We did have to watch it.
Beautiful day.
Beautiful, beautiful day, and I absolutely loved your filming of it. So the second thing.
I love filming.
Thank you. Excuse me, I do have to cough. We don't have our microphones on for a reason. We both have to cough. But I suppose we should. If we need to cough, all I have to do is this. So I've completely forgotten about the mute buttons and the turn off video buttons. Right. But now that I do know, we'll be utilizing that occasionally when we say ad break or when I need to kiss you, darling, and stuff like that, which is often. So anyway, or when we need to cough. Speaking of cough, I've got coffee, so I really need to take a sip. So, so what were we saying? So yes, so Batman Day. So September 16th is also Batman Day. And the reason why it's Batman Day is not, as I mistakenly said in the Daily Egg breakfast show, which was formerly called the breakfast show, but is now the breakfast show, the Daily Egg. Join us every day, maybe. It's not that the first Batman comic was launched on this day. The first Batman comic was launched on March 30th, 1939. So it was this day, September 16th, coincided with Comic-Con in San Diego or something. I think it was the first one, something like that too. So that's why they made it Batman Day. Anyway, it's Batman Day, blah, 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 and Batman is a favorite character of us, and so that's why we've talked about it. And tomorrow we'll continue the conversation that we didn't quite finish, and because I was talking with Dwayne about his commitment to pursue his skill, his talent that he was born with, and how that becomes a skill and what it takes. And sometimes, with the support of parents and also what does it take? What does it really take to be an artist, and what do you have to do to sustain that? Anyway, gosh, so that we can continue tomorrow. But we watched you sketch, which was incredible to do, and we hadn't finished talking about the styles, how I prefer more streamlined. So my idea of a superhero body is your body, where it's just structured and this fantastic frame, and you're muscular, but you're lithe, you're lean. You know that you could. I feel like you could just spring up, into.
So the Robert Pattinson Batman.
Well,
which of the actors do you think? So let's talk about movies now. Right?
Let's talk about. So this is what we're here now. What we're doing now. We're talking about the Batman movies now. So we opened up with the trailer for the 1966 movie, starring Adam West and Burt Ward and everybody else. That's certainly not my favorite. That was just kitsch.
But for the time,
fantastic for the time.
Because I think the comics started off very dark, right? And I think they wanted to make it kid friendly or something happened.
Because this was more teenage oriented.
So I think it was some organization that was against violence in comics or like some Christian thing. It was something weird. But so I think they had to try and make it more fun.
Yes, sure.
So around that time, Batman started to change, because the Batman comics, the original ones, he had guns and he used to kill men.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Because
he was quite brutal.
If you know anything about Batman now, Batman doesn't kill.
Yeah.
So
they had to make it friendlier and more relatable to society. They didn't want to, condone violence or promote violence, as a good thing. So that's what happened, and so it became like more colorful.
Yeah,
than
sorry.
what it is now.
I don't mean to be looking down, but I'm looking for information as we go. So as whatever we talk about, we'll look up information as we go. So, look, it says here, the style of the show is intentionally campy and tongue-in-cheek. It exaggerates situations and plays them for laughs, though the characters take the absurd situations very seriously. So it's like, holy Gotham Batman, you know, stuff like that. And it kind of simplified it or ridiculed it and made comics look like they were for children. So they were geared towards teenagers, when really the whole storyline of all of this is just dark stories told with pictures. And so when they're moving, they're called horror pictures, and when they're in a book, they're gothic. But then when they're in a comic, they're kids? They're for kids? No way. I don't know. It's weird. People just want to dilute art forms that don't agree with their narrative. I don't know. Some shit like that. But
and I guess at the time it was who watched this. So what time did they play? Like probably late afternoons, so it had to be more fun thing to watch, I guess, for the time.
Yeah, but it depends. So I'm trying to read here what it is they did. So anyway, we're going to move on. So we're not focusing on this, but whatever they did, they intentionally turned it. So
it's not our favorite.
No,
it's not our favorite.
So let's move on. Yeah. Now let's move on to back in. Now when did it come out? Tim Burton's Batman. 89.
I think.
Well, we'll have a look at. So just talk a little bit about it, because you like this. Well, you like this particular one.
It's stuck in my memory for a long time because it's the first Batman
movie. Yeah, of course,
movie
and it was exciting because it was.
And I watched it at Regal Cinema.
Yeah.
It was the first time I went to the movies.
Right.
And it was Batman.
Right.
And I was a kid. I was in 1980. I was 8 years old.
Right. Well, I guess that's where I watched it too, because I was 18.
Yeah.
So I would have watched it there as well. And yeah, Batman, my gosh.
So 1989.
1989, released on 31st August. And it was the first time people had seen a superhero. That was really the start of when superhero movies became a thing.
Yeah, sure.
It had existed before. There had been lots and lots of TV shows, in particular in the States in the 70s.
Yeah.
All those things with the
they had Hulk.
Yeah. All those Hulk, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man, Flash, and all. There was quite a few superhero shows and campy things and etc. So it wasn't until the late 80s, of course, and then Tim Burton with his weirdo goth, way of looking things suited the narrative of Batman. Now,
for the 80s, right?
Now, we're not going to be your usual statistics, and we're going to break this down by knowing everything about we're not going to talk about things that way. Okay, for me, because I don't find Michael Keaton attractive, I never really took him seriously as Batman, except that I really love Kim Basinger. So we've got to find, while I talk about the movie, could you please find me Vicky Vale? Yeah. So when I was like, Michael Keaton, particularly because Michael Keaton had just played Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, with Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis and Winona Ryder, and that famous scene which was recreated by two current top models. But fuck that. Sorry, forget that. In the movie in Beetlejuice, there's a scene because Beetlejuice possesses the family that's living in not Beetlejuice, the ghost. Anyway, whatever. Deo. Deo. Such a good scene. Go find that scene and then come back. We'll find it later. Anyway, so Michael Keaton was Beetlejuice, and if you go and see what he looks like, you will not recognize that as being Michael Keaton. It's like, what? So everyone was like, no, and Batman was like hot. Batman has always been a hot character. Hello. This 18-year-old newly minted woman didn't want to see Beetlejuice as her favorite character. Thank you. No thanks. So that was really annoying. And look, you've really got to see Vicky Vale, okay? Vicky Vale. Ooh, we've got to have some volume here. I'm really sorry about this. And let's go. And Gordon was an idiot in this. An absolute idiot. Oh, look. So look at Gordon. Gordon's not supposed to be an idiot, all right? But Vicky Vale, who plays intrepid reporter Vicky Vale, they're always a fascinating. So she was like this Batman's Lois Lane, but Kim Basinger, I love her. Seriously.
What was the movie we just watched? Oh,
Never Say Never Again.
That's right.
We haven't finished our Bond retrospective, but she was in the very underrated Never Say Never Again with Sean Connery reprising his role as Bond. And the reason why it's called Never Say Never Again is because his wife said to him, "Don't you say that," because when he said, "I'm never going to play Bond again." Anyway, I love Kim Basinger, and this is where Vicky Vale meets Bruce Wayne.
Check this out. He must have been king of the wicker people. Well, where'd this come from?
I have no idea.
It's Japanese.
How do you know?
Because about Japan.
Who are you?
Oh, sorry. Bruce Wayne.
Alexander Knox.
Right. Oh, I read your work. I like it. I like it a lot.
Right. So, okay. For me, then.
Vicky Vale.
Bruce Wayne.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that's it. I've seen your photographs from Corto Maltese now.
And she's a photographer in this. So absolutely, I'm like, yes, swooning over Kim Basinger as Vicky Vale in a Batman. So they're taking Batman very seriously, and I really, really love that. I didn't take Michael Keaton seriously until, I guess, you see him for the first time as the Bat. And, of course, the Batmobile. And it's so kitsch now in comparison to our favorite Batmobiles.
Oh, yeah.
But it was pretty cool. And I remember back then, and because I went to Warner Brothers Movie World in Gold Coast when it first opened back in the early 90s, and it was so freaking cool to see, like, and back then when the parade, I mean, you and I have seen the parade, and albeit it was like, after the pandemic, so it was a bit poor, but they haven't changed anything. It's actually worse. But back then, the parade down Warner Brothers, main boulevard, and oh my God, and when the Bat came out, it was like, we were all just like, drool,
No, I didn't see the Batmobile though.
Oh yeah, we did see it. It was parked somewhere because it's old, and it's like, hello, we've moved on. But anyway, so it was really fantastic. But for me, as I've said to you, what really made me like Michael Keaton as Batman is Kim Basinger as Vicky Vale.
Right.
because I like Vicky Vale, Kim Basinger. I will like her character. Well, not necessarily. That's not true. But I liked Vicky Vale, even though she was a little bit. They play them flighty, not because they want to, but because they get directed to. Actors play. If you see a bad performance from an actor, it's really blame the director. It's really the director. And also sometimes not everyone can act. Acting is hard work. I can't do that. I can't do it. It's a very hard thing to do, but you don't realize how difficult it is. So that was for me. And then of course you have Batman Returns. Right? Now I don't even know. We see how unscripted and unscheduled this is. We don't have anything, so we're finding on the go. And I can't remember when Batman Returns returned. I really can't remember that. But it was really good because, of course, that first Batman was a big hit. And so... 1992, right. And it was a big, big deal because now they had more of the Batman canon. Now they had not only a major villain after the Joker. Of course, we had the Joker was the main villain, so everyone knows that the Joker is the Batman's main villain. And really, you're never going to see the end of the Joker because the one wouldn't exist without the other. And we really get into this in the Nolanverse movies, which really, those movies we could watch over and over again. Anyway, so the Joker we've already seen in this one, and Jack Nicholson was pretty good as the Joker.
Yeah.
He was the cartoon Joker that people knew.
He was the Joker for that Gotham.
Yeah.
For that Batman. For that time, I guess. And the Joker in the Adam West Batman.
Yeah, it was perfect. So they've all been perfect for their era.
For that movie, you know?
Yeah. So Jack Nicholson was fantastic in it. You know, this town needs an enema.
Yeah, that's right. And he's classic. He's
right.
the classic Joker.
And I think, look, spoiler alert. So if you haven't seen Tim Burton's Batman that was released in 1989, I would suggest you mute yourself right now, because I think I'm remembering this correctly when I say that You Dance with the Devil in the Pale Moonlight happened to be the Joker.
Yeah.
That's who killed
That's right, yeah.
Bruce's parents,
yeah.
right? So that was the twist in this one, because that isn't always the story, but that's the choice the director or the movie makers choose to go, the screenplay decides to go.
Sorry.
So do we have anything to show about Batman Returns? So that was fantastic. Was it Tim Burton who directed it?
Yep.
Very great, of course. And it was still the same gothic feel, and Michael Keaton did play a bit of a... Look, I find him the most fragile of the Batmans. I feel that he's always like a second away from crying about how shit the world is, excuse my language, that it's all just crazy. And of course, so in this one, we've got now the other major villains coming in. So we've got Danny DeVito as the Penguin, and he was so repulsive. He was perfect. Yeah. Like, he was disgusting. I couldn't stand him in it. And then you had Michelle Pfeiffer as, sorry about that, Michelle Pfeiffer. I'm sure we've got a mute button. There you go, I've muted. That's easy. I don't have to do that. So Michelle Pfeiffer as Selina Kyle, who is Catwoman. Selina Kyle, actually, I didn't really like the portrayal of Selina Kyle in this movie. I didn't like it.
Right.
But I love Michelle Pfeiffer, and I love her as Catwoman. And if you've got a clip for us, my darling, because this is the best clip of all. And the good thing about this, right, is, so excuse us for a moment while we bring you something. Soon. Soon. So you can just look at that vista, and this is what we sometimes entertain ourselves with, the Google photographs. And really, some of these, when you go and find them out, they're like, what is this? This could be anywhere. How is this culturally important? These photographs you're seeing right now, my darling, do we have, I'm sorry, we may need to just, I'm just going to, we will resume normal broadcast in a moment, but right now we'll continue talking. And so what am I saying? I can't remember, but I'm sure I will. So yes, we will be looking at Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman, as Selina Kyle. Now, I didn't like this portrayal because I don't like Selina Kyle to be a psychopath, and I didn't want her to be born from, from trauma. I didn't want the trauma to happen. So here we go. Let's see what we're seeing here.
So this is
he gets attacked in the street, right? Now this is cool. So that's, look at her. Like, she is so super cool. That's not her. But there. I love her. She's like such a psycho.
So again, good Catwoman for this Gotham,
movie and this time. Oh, one thing about this scene. Okay? All of this right now, and you can go and search for it on YouTube yourself. All of this right now is Michelle Pfeiffer cracking this whip. It is so cool. The crew clap her. That's her doing this. She actually does this in one take. Like, what the hell?
So cool.
So really fucking, excuse my language, but really, really, well, hello, you already know, I swear. And then this is so cool. Da, 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 da. She's like I don't know how many clips we can show, so I'm going to come back to us now. All right, well, so great. I love her as Catwoman. She's so cool, and at like all like the Warner Brothers movie world, because that's all. Of course, all these licenses come into play. Then there, so when you go there, this is the Catwoman that you see.
That's right. Yeah, I was just going to ask.
Yeah, because I think it's about what licenses they can afford to pay. So it's quite old, really, in some things, but still, the actors, the actresses who play this part. They really get into it. It's fantastic. So Selena Kyle, Michelle Pfeiffer's portrayal of Selena Kyle, I think was very indicative of the anger women were feeling around this time, but really doing all this hard work and still being, trampled over. So she became a Catwoman who became a misogynist herself, really, and a misandrist too. Like, she hated everybody. She became too bitter and angry. The thing about Selena Kyle's character that I've always liked is that she's sort of been, this is what happens to good people when they don't have privileges, they don't have opportunities. So unfortunately, life made her not complacent, because Selena Kyle is like a fantastic, just super independent character. And again, my most favorite portrayal of Selena Kyle is in the Nolanverse, which we'll get to in a moment. But yeah, so is there anything in this movie you like? I mean, there's a lot of.
I did like Catwoman, but again, for this Batman, I thought the Catwoman was good, but again, not my favorite Catwoman. But yeah, it was a good movie.
Yeah.
For the way it was made.
Yes, I really liked it. Yeah. So where do we go from here? Oh my God, we go from here.
Yeah.
This sort of gothic, and it was so dark, really. Back to a real cartoony version of Batman starring Val Kilmer, and which, look, I loved, because I did think Val Kilmer was gorgeous. I loved, at that stage, I thought he was the best thing about Top Gun as Iceman. I was never a Tom Cruise fan. I am now a fan of his movies, even though he's a religious person with that. All religions are cults, sorry, with all of that. No wonder I'm losing followers. I'm like, why am I losing account followers? Maybe because I say things like that. Oh, well, I always have. It's just now I'm coming to you live, and it's offensive now. All right, whatever. Anyway,
Batman Forever.
Thank you. Batman Forever. Val Kilmer, blah, 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 blah.
1995.
Right. Joel Schumacher?
Yeah.
Is it a real? That's their style.
That was a changeover, right?
And that's 1995 was getting a bit flashier. I was out in the big world. I was based in Hong Kong then, so I saw how it was really dynamic times. CNN, you watched it, and everything was CNN. With blah blah blah, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, blah. All these names, that should be at the tip, but it was all very like, oh my God, this is all such a thrilling time. What's happening in the world? It's so much. It was kind of exciting. It wasn't scary so much as verging on the brink of something is going to happen, but we are going to turn this around. It was exciting times. And so the Val Kilmer one is very much an action blockbuster, right? Yeah. And again, what saved it for me, I'm surprised to say how many, I'm not really a fan of that many white actresses, but I also, like, Nicole Kidman now annoys the hell out of me. Like, stop with the act, and I'm sorry, but your color skin doesn't just age, naturally with no lines. Hello, you're older than me. I'm brown and my skin is wrinkled. Anyway, well, not really, but I'm just trying to make non-brown people feel better about that. But I did like Nicole Kidman in this movie as Dr. Chase Meridian, and I liked her, and I thought she was very campy and all that stuff. So here we go. And also, this movie also has another really favorite character of ours.
Really? Of me.
I see without seeing. To me, darkness is as clear as daylight. What am I?
Please! You're as blind as a bat!
Exactly.
Like, I still don't really know what the hell this stupid cryptic thing is. I'm surprised you've chosen this scene, darling. Alright, because I'm going to turn it back close now. I'm surprised you've chosen that scene because it doesn't show this movie at its best.
Right.
This movie actually, look, it's really cartoony, but I did love aspects of it. And Jim Carrey in this.
I picked this scene because all the characters are in this.
Yeah, sure. Okay, but I don't think it's the best best scene to show of this movie, because what Jim Carrey's Riddler is showing in this movie is actually very indicative of the times, almost what, 20 years later? Sorry, just to go off, anchor me here. We're talking about this Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
I just read something, a meme that said, when people say, 20, the 80s, and you say, 20 years ago, or somebody says, 20 years ago, and you go, yeah, the 80s.
Yeah.
When actually 20 years ago is 2003. I still think 80s was 20 years ago. I don't know why you think it. You were born in the 80s, so it's like weird. Anyway, anchoring me back to here. So 1995, which is 1995, right? To now, okay, is how long?
My maths is terrible.
Almost 30 years.
Right.
Okay. It's almost 30
So yeah.
And it's actually very indicative of something that's happening with people and what you have to watch this. He's got this device that helps people see things.
So it's the conspiracy theory about subliminal messaging
Right.
through television.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's not.
And that's been around for a while.
Yeah, but it's not really it's not really subliminal. It's actually happening to you. Everyone's getting influenced and determined by an algorithm. Darling, may I have something to drink?
Yes, what would you like?
May I have a cup of your most excellent ginger tea while I continue talking with our guests and talking about Batman? So the Riddler is a fascinating, and Jim Carrey is fabulously over the top in this, but it is so telling. So this action blockbuster, cartoony. So it was more Marvel than Marvel actually, with Val Kilmer, and also the other thing, it's how the lips look in the mask that really matter. You really want your superheroes' lips to be luscious through a mask. So Val Kilmer's lips were luscious back then. And as I said, and so yes, Jim Carrey is Riddler, but he has this device that sucks people's brain cells out. I don't know. That's not what it is. It's actually more. This is actually what's happening now, where people are getting so terribly influenced by the algorithm, and the more plastic someone is, the more they're upheld as being a bastion of youth or something. Not bastion. Bastion's not the right. But people are doing strange things. Anyway, I've got really off topic here, but we'll come back. We'll come back into this. And Harvey, what's his name? Who was Two-Dent? Harvey, Tommy Lee Jones. Tommy Lee Jones was Harvey Two-Faces. Harvey Dent. Two-Face. Yes. And it was all theatrical and totally over the top. And apparently, behind the scenes, Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey could not stand each other. So that's because I know all of these things. I love knowing extended universe things. And I don't really go and watch, but I like to read about things because I like knowing a lot about pop culture. And so what else? And we've got Drew Barrymore and Debbie Mazar, the it girls of the time, playing Sugar and Spice, which is quite, it's so chauvinistic, I swear. So each one was the girlfriend of the other. So Jim Carrey and so Harvey Dent and the Riddler, sorry. So yes, so Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey. Tommy Lee Jones hated Jim Carrey because Tommy Lee Jones is a very serious man, apparently. And so he hated Jim Carrey, who was always in character. He's very much a method man. But now Jim Carrey's found some newfound fame as some sort of spiritual guru. It's only because comedians, when they're not being, chauvinist, misogynist assholes, cancelling themselves out, and if they're not, unfortunately, like, we love Dave Chappelle, but they've got to move with the times, and comedians are geniuses. Comedians and artists and photographers, we see the world through very different lenses, no pun intended. But anyway, back. So I was talking about Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey. So Jim Carrey, being a comedian, has always been able to see the world in some interesting ways. So I've never been a fan because that Ace Ventura stuff was just not my thing. However, I do very much like The Mask. I love that movie because Jim Carrey is a genius in that. So Jim Carrey as the Riddler was very interesting. And there's a lot of wisdom hidden in amongst all this cartoony stuff. It's all just bright lights. And then, of course, this movie's got it all. It introduces Robin. And that's Chris O'Donnell is Robin in this. And it's quite a nice backstory. And really, my darling, what did I say about why Batman and Robin, if you are a comic book fan and all this pop culture, Eurostream pop culture fan, then you know that Robin has always been ridiculed and everyone says, you're Robin. It's like, I'm sorry to say this, and please, I mean no disrespect, but it seemed to have been a pop culture thing to say that if you wanted to sort of deflate someone, you'd call them well, no, look, I can't say it. It's the least known member of Destiny's Child, okay? Or, for instance, the least known member of the trio that supposedly went to the moon in 1969, the NASA trip. When I say supposedly, because now I'm starting to think, because I didn't realize there were so many people who thought that was a hoax, that the U.S. space people and U.S. astronauts did not land on the moon. They did eventually, but they didn't first because they just had to get there before the Russian cosmonauts. So they think it was all done. And the whole thing is that Neil Armstrong actually didn't give any interviews after that, and he just didn't want to talk about it. So it's like all a bit weird. But everyone, okay, what I'm saying, the diss here is like, does anyone remember the name of the third guy on this Apollo mission that landed on the moon? So there was Neil Armstrong, there was Buzz Aldrin, and I think
Robin.
and Robin.
And Robin.
So that's unfortunately poor Robin's fate. But I will tell you who it is. I'm certain, I am bringing it back from my memory. I think it's Michael Collins. I think that is the third member. And I think the reason why I do remember this is because, and I've told you this recently and on a live, that Michael Collins, if that is indeed his name, I'm so sorry. We remember Buzz Aldrin because he was jealous as hell of Neil Armstrong's supposedly real, supposedly fake, who knows, first step for humankind. But anyway, Michael Collins designed the insignia, the badge for that Apollo mission. Now, I don't know how I've got onto that, but Robin always has a bad thing. So I really loved the depiction of Robin in this particular movie played by Chris O'Donnell, because it was a really sad backstory, and also he was cool. Chris O'Donnell was cool as Robin. I mean, if you're going to have a white boy playing, someone wearing underpants on their outside, supposedly, which I really hate that. That's not what they do. Then, come on, darling, cast it, please.
So, we're still talking about Batman Forever. I'm just setting it up. Sorry.
Okay, good, because I want to see. Yeah. I want to see a scene from that. Do we have to see a scene? Yeah, I want to see a better scene from that shows someone like at the ball, something like that. Oh gosh, I don't forget it. So we're going to move on. Or if you can find a clip, tell me, because look, I did like that movie. It was a bit ridiculous and it was fantastical, but it was certainly much better than the travesty that followed next. Like, what was that movie? Like, this is what I can't stand. I hate people wasting money like this. Please don't make shit. And Eurostream white Hollywood directors get money thrown at them to go and make more shit. Unfortunately, Eurostream white female Hollywood people don't get the same level of. So if they fail once, they're out. So imagine poor. There's nothing poor about, but unfortunately, people of the global majority who then enter into the Eurostream entertainment fray, well, you've got to play by their constructs, and you don't get the opportunities. And we've all convinced ourselves that their constructs are the only constructs, instead of seeing that it is a niche construct within the world. It's that whole thing. You can liken it to this thing where people say there's a work-life balance, and to that it's like, what? No. This is life, and this is work. And work is just one component of life. There is no work-life balance. What? That's crazy. That's so crazy. Anyway, so yeah, back to the, which one are we seeing? Are we seeing a clip from Batman Forever? So I think we're going to see
from
some...
the ball?
Yeah, let's go see the ball. Okay. Are they there? No, before they actually... yeah, this is good. I like this. Ooh, I like this. And so we're about to, because we're actually, We're about to. It's just that we were casting from a laptop so that we could be ready. And there you go, in keeping with the spirit of the show. This is happening on the move. So, you know, it happens as it happens, including the sound. Oh my God.
Okay, you control sound and everything.
Okay. So this is ridiculously theatrically over the top, and this still isn't my darling.
You said the ball?
Right, well, okay, so this is Val. Okay, so he's just been in this crazy machine that has apparently sucked out his, you know, thoughts. And this is Tommy Lee Jones as Harvey Dent, and now this is Val. Oops. What? There you go. Here's Batman.
See Alfred? Yes, sir.
I mean, Alfred is so damn old in these first few movies. It's like, I'm sorry, Alfred needs to be home and asleep. You know, okay, so this is Chris O'Donnell, right?
You're ruining my big party.
Because, okay, Jim Carrey as the Riddler is pretending to be this Enigma, Edward Enigma.
We want him dead. That nothing brings out the Batman like a murderer.
I mean, it's also over the top and theatrical.
What you've done is let me in on the paper. We could organize this, brand it, pre-sold the movie rights.
See, I love that. Oh, look at this. Dun dun dun. Ooh. Cut to, you know, perfectly coiffed and made up Chase Meridian, Dr. Chase Meridian.
Your entrance was good.
His was better. I don't know how long we're allowed to show these clips,
Yeah.
you know, so I get a bit concerned about these things. So I might have to turn back so that we don't get, penalized for it. But that's got all the players. Actually, darling, I lied. That was a pretty good clip to show.
Yeah,
It had all the main players in it.
Well, I mean,
and we
it's
heard
like-
Alfred,
so,
yes.
yeah, it was
So,
awesome.
and we heard Alfred.
Yeah.
Alfred, who should be sleeping because Alfred's like 183 years old in these first movies. And sure, okay, Alfred, you were an SAS or ex, super service military man, whatever, but now you are in geriatric park. Seriously, I don't know. But let's talk about the travesty that was the movie after. Is that Batman and Robin?
Yes, it is.
Oh my God, with George Clooney. Look, I was never a fan of George Clooney, so I am biased, because I am really biased. Like, people like Brad Pitt and George Clooney are just not my thing. They're such things that are not... Ooh, wait a moment. Yes, you've queued a really fantastic one. We'll get to that in a moment. I hope... Is this with I don't know what it is, but anyway. I don't know which one it is. use my words. But this had some major players in it. So it had George Clooney now, and I don't really know what happened with Val Kilmer. I think there was a pay dispute or something. And see, Val Kilmer's actually...
was George Clooney trending hard?
He may have been trending harder. Val Kilmer, my God, I really do know a lot about the Eurostream constructs, Eurostream's, entertainment pop culture. I do. I love it. This is why I'm not anti it. I'm just like, move over, get out of the way. What's
that
your
was
problem?
97.
97, right. So how old was I? I don't know. 26. So, George Clooney, I guess, was not my thing. And you know what it came down to? The lips. George Clooney in the Batman mask. I mean, George Clooney's very thin-lipped. And there's just nothing happening for me there. Look, nothing against thin lips. I'm so sorry. This is not a bias. It's just... It's something you need in your Batman. Lips. Anyway, I don't...
After Keaton and Kilmer.
Yes, I'm sorry. George Clooney just didn't take it seriously, and that was the funny thing about it. George Clooney is the one. So Val Kilmer was in the cartoony movie, but Val Kilmer is a serious actor, like a classically trained actor, anyway. And it's funny that that Val Kilmer's debut movie, way back in the early '80s, was this real crazy movie called Top Secret. It was a real parody back in the days of parody. It's so hilarious. He was so funny in it. But anyway, coming back into the modern day, so Val Kilmer was in a cartoony movie very seriously. George Clooney played it like the Roger Moore Bond. It was all very tongue-in-cheek, like, let's go save the world, kind of thing. I don't know, but it had all these big names because the money was being raked in. So the more money that comes in with these movies, the more people think, come on, let's just throw all these things. So you had
Arnie.
I'll be back. He certainly was as Mr. Freeze, and I shouldn't say that. But Arnold Schwarzenegger is in this as Mr. Freeze, who has this tragic backstory, and he had a supermodel of the times, a model of the times as his wife. And then you've got Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy, which I've got to tell you, she is stunning in this as Poison Ivy. I do love that scene where we first get introduced to Poison Ivy, and of course she starts off as I can't remember her name, first something Ivy. She's a biologist and she's supposed to be frumpy because of course, if you've got a female scientist, you've got to make her really dowdy and frumpy. And Uma Thurman, who is like 6 foot and is considered some sort of Hollywood goddess. Yeah, sure. Let's make her as frumpy as possible. They love doing this to their actresses. And of course, if you go back through time, through the United States Academy Awards, the Oscars, the awards they have, then you'll see that pretty much every actress that wins that lead actress award has had to disfigure herself in some way, or go against type, or de-glamorize herself. They want their actresses to be as beautiful as possible off stage, but on stage they need to be able to make themselves as ugly as possible before they get the reward of being stars. Anyway, or if they want to be taken seriously and they've been stars, make yourself ugly, go get that award. I don't know, it's just like a pattern that happens. Anyway, so this movie was just totally over the top and ridiculous. So are we going to have a bit of a look at what's happening now? Who's controlling the sound? I am. All right, my darling, let's have a look at what's happening here. And look, this Gotham is so fantastical. It's not based on reality at all. And this is Mr. Freeze. And like everyone's like, damn, couldn't he have been Mr. Sunshine?
Really, honey?
True. But look at this ridiculous scene. Okay, what are we seeing here? Is he about to just crash land somewhere? I can't even remember this ridiculous movie.
Look at the bad movie.
Oh yeah, but I want to see Poison Ivy. This scene bores me. Now let's go back to this.
Oh, but that.
Yeah. The guys playing with their toys and stuff like that. So this was a really good scene actually. But it doesn't matter. Let's go find Poison Ivy, darling. I'm so sorry. He did actually choose a really good scene. I'm sorry, darling.
It's okay.
Hi, darling.
But I want to see Poison Ivy because the boys are just going to be chasing each other, and Bat isn't going to kill anybody because he's like Mr. Conscience. And Robin's gonna be, come on, Bruce, let's do this. I was like, oh, calm down. Calm down, Robin. So, but I want to see the entrance of Poison Ivy is like the best thing. And she's got all the pheromones. So is this, no, you've got to go back. You've got to actually go, this one, I think, this one. Have a look at this one. I'm sorry, we're just doing some housekeeping, well, back of house stuff. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay, great. Like, hold this. This is it. This is the scene. Because this is
I had the right one. So this is the one you picked.
Oh no. Okay. Well, you had the right one.
Yeah.
Oh right. Okay. My apologies again. All right. Well, can you just tell me what you're picking?
Yeah.
So you're doing so because I saw that. So all right. My apologies. My husband had already picked the right one. Now we are going to go and see in a few moments. Anyway, this is my favorite scene in this movie, and perhaps the only scene worth seeing.
Good morning, Gotham, and I welcome you to the gem of the evening.
Commissioner Gordon displaying the famed heart of Isis on loan from the collection of my close personal friends.
So this is really like, look what's happening here, and I think this is really cute. Okay, so this is George Clooney. Look at his lips.
He'll be here.
And also, he's not, I'm sorry to say, he's not tall enough. Okay, so this is really cool. So they've got some cultural appropriation happening here. Cool. Are they actually black people dancing? Are they the only ones, the only black people at this party are the ones who are dancing? Okay, I don't know, but this is interesting what happens here. Why do they all? Oh look, there's a light coloured black woman. Listen, why do all those magnates, all the rich people?
Because they got money.
Right. Well, why do they always talk that way? And this is fabulous. I don't really know if we're allowed to show this long, but this is why I keep talking over it. So hopefully that YouTube, please don't think of this as copyright, but we've got to show this. I love this. I think this is the best scene in this movie. You know, because I can't lie, I'm a Uma Thurman fan. But again, these are all privileged white women anyway, but they're privileged white women in Hollywood. All these women I have said, Kim Basinger, Michelle Pfeiffer, you know, Uma Thurman. Like, I love them. Nicole Kidman. They're privileged as hell. But, oh, look at that. Oh, stunning.
So cool.
Very, very cool. I love this. Poison ivy, poison ivy. This is an old song, a 60s song. I love this. Oh, yeah. Look at her. She looks fantastic. Stunning. Oh, gorgeous. Love, 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 love. Bye-bye. And... Okay. Okay, do we want to watch this? No, I think we may need to come back to us now. So that was the entrance of Poison Ivy, and I think that's the only thing worth watching in that ridiculous movie. It was totally over the top, and I think by this time everyone just went, yeah, nah. So it didn't do well, I don't think so. So now, after that was, after that was, look, we may need to talk separately about Nolanverse because we did want to keep this sort of within a time frame of like at least a day, so I don't digress too much. But I don't know. So 2005 came Batman Begins.
Yeah.
The start of the Nolanverse Bat trilogy, and our favorite. Like, we could talk. Well, we could watch these movies if we put any music on right now. So if we show you anything, then it's just going to be what we're going to talk about are our favorite scenes from each movie, because we love the Nolanverse, Christopher Nolan's movie. Now, Christopher Nolan is a filmmaker extraordinaire. He and his wife, and I think his brother, they do the scripts, they produce everything. It's also a little bit, a hell of a lot of privilege here, but again, privilege with merit. I mean, I haven't seen Oppenheimer because I actually don't like the movie, what it's based on. The guy who built the atom bomb, and he, I'm really not interested. I know the story, thank you very much, and there's a lot of things that get omitted from stuff like this, and making the villains the heroes because they're tortured, they think they're doing the right thing. Making a bomb to destroy anybody at any time was never going to be the right thing. Anyway, so I'm not going to watch that, but I have pretty much watched every single Nolan movie, and he is one of my top 5 directors.
Yeah, I agree. Great director. I love Nolan. So,
I like a lot of his movies, Inception and Memento, and that's all of these ones, but certainly the Nolanverse, because I also love Christian Bale. Love Christian Bale. He is my favorite actor, I would say. Or, no, actually, God, this is really annoying now about who my favorite Hollywood Euro actor is.
He's my favorite Batman, for sure.
He's my favorite Batman, for sure. But again, that's now become something different. So, Batman Begins in 2005 was a completely different thing because Christopher Nolan based his Batman in a real world. So Gotham, even though it was filmed in Chicago, Gotham was sort of based on the premise of what Chicago and New York are like. These are very sophisticated cities, so Gotham's got the sophistication of New York. So Metropolis, that was supposed to be Superman, like Kal-El, Clark Kent's place, is LA type thing.
No, Metropolis is New York.
Oh, right. Yes, it is, really, because that's where they filmed it.
Gotham is
Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, okay.
Or,
yeah, sure.
the next big city.
Right. So, and, and this is where you...
Central City is the Flash, so that's LA.
Oh. I never really know where they base these things on, but this was a real introduction to a gritty Batman, and where you see a lot of some of the in-between lost billionaire boy who had to disappear and fight with his own integrity, and this is where he gets then, so spoiler alerts galore, blah, 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 we're talking about movies, he gets inducted by the League of Shadows.
Ninja training.
And this is why...
Ninja training begins.
This is why Bale is my favorite, Bale's Batman is my favorite, because for me, Batman is a ninja. Whereas the difference is that as we were talking in the sketch thing, we didn't quite finish that, so we won't talk about it. Because we also have to talk about, so after we talk about the Nolanverse, we then have to get into the Snyderverse, I guess.
Yeah.
So, I love Batman Begins. I love it. Do we have anything, do you want to, my favorite scene. There's my favorite scene in Batman Begins. And what's your favorite scene?
Batman Begins?
Yeah. So, this is where, he gets introduced to Gotham, he decides to use his privilege and his money for good, and he re-enters life as, Bruce Wayne, playboy, billionaire playboy. As we said before, only billionaires really can have the means to be superheroes, etc. So my favorite scene in Batman Begins is when we first get introduced to Batman. I really love the tension in this scene, and I really love the music. And one thing really, Dwayne and I can listen to the soundtracks of all the Nolanverse Batman movies and there's this thing that we call the Nolan hum, which we think is this vibration, the frequency, because there's frequencies all around. You've got to understand, we have waves coming to us from every single direction, but they're structured waves. They're not random, chaotic, or they're not anarchy waves. We've got brain waves and waves of color, different wavelengths of color and sound and light. Oh my gosh. So, so there is this loud hum that is the frequency of, I don't know something, but I really love it. You're probably thinking, what is she talking about? But
Nolan hum. Yeah.
It's the Nolan hum. And look, some things are problematic in these universes, but you've got to understand we're watching Eurostream construct entertainment done the most excellent way possible. So for those constructs, Christopher Nolan is mwah. I just absolutely love him. So now this is my favorite scene in Batman Begins. The suspense is just... We may need to turn it up because the one thing with Nolan is that his sound.
Yeah.
He's got a problem with sound.
Nice.
Like by this time I was like,
my body was.
I was just, what the hell? But actually, my second favorite scene.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not my favorite part of this scene, but we'll get to it, and then we have to show you actually my most significant scene. So this is Carmine Falcone, and that was a corrupt cop, and so this is the first introduction to Batman.
The first time we see Nolan's Batman.
Yes.
There's a problem out here. You better bail.
Oh, you better. You better bail.
Oh, this bit.
Oh my gosh. This guy's like, why be a baddie if you're gonna be such a wussy?
Yeah, right?
Americans trigger happy.
You knew what you signed up for.
Yeah, I know, right?
No, he didn't. He didn't know he was signed up for the Batman.
That's true. But this, shh.
Where are you?
Oh my God! I think I slid down my seat in the cinema and jumped up at the same time, shot through the roof.
Yeah, sure. Me too. I was being innocent.
I know. I was just like, oh, look at that! Look at that! It's perfection! It's perfection. Okay, let's turn it back now.
Yeah.
because except that we're about to see something even better than and really tops it off like this. Shh. Oh my god. Shh.
What the hell are you? I'm Batman.
And this is my
Yes.
favorite line.
Nice coat. Oh my god. Sorry. Okay, so I've got to turn that around now. So that's really, I really love that. And my when he finds his cave.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
That scene is extremely significant to me. I really understand that about embracing your fears and just letting them look, I can't even get it out because sometimes I really remember what it's like to have confronted all that trauma side of me, that side that has stayed in depression, etc., and what it feels like to turn yourself around and look at yourself. And this scene is very significant to me, darling.
It was beautiful because the way you described it was Batman was being born.
Yes. I found this to be, so if you're familiar with this, if you remember then Batman Begins, the young Bruce falls down a well. And then when Bruce, as an older, mature man, now that he's a ninja and he's been trained by the League of Shadows, but because Bruce is essentially, regardless of if he was a billionaire or not, because it goes to show about what's integrity, because the choices are within us. So Bruce chooses to not kill to be judge and jury and to not, so Bruce chooses not to be evil. Darling, we can also find it, we actually have the Nolanverse movies. But great, right, you found it. Look, my
Yeah,
husband.
I think you can find it.
Yeah, look, it's there.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. You're wonderful. So this scene is really, really, important to me. I really, really love it because of what it means. Because Bruce has chosen integrity and chosen to use his privileges to make a difference and fight. And then this is what really, really cements it. So I love it. Now, please, have a watch.
Yeah, cast it.
Okay, maybe not. Okay, here we go. So we're just, finding these scenes. And I'm sorry if you're seeing all the production things, but here we go.
This is alive.
This is alive, and this is very annoying right now, but we should, time these things better. Oh, that was good timing. At this stage, I was already a huge fan of Christian Bale's because of Reign of Fire.
In this sunburned grounds.
Because of what happened to him when he was a child. He fell down this and bats, and then they went to an opera that had bats, and then his parents got killed right in front of him. So bats have then been cemented in his mind as being a horror thing for him. But this is really interesting what happens here. He seems to go through a canal. Comes through with an umbilical cord attached, and he is born. I love the symbology of this. The symbology of it. He's born. He comes through a vagina holding onto a rope. It is fantastic. I absolutely loved that. But then coming up next, sorry about the sound having for you to see that, but I hope I'm not shouting or that you can hear what I just said about Bruce being born, and this is now he's born into being who he's supposed to be. He's done all, he went through, so much and hell to deserve to be who he has chosen to be. And then this, confronting his fears, but I've got to shut up now. is a very powerful scene.
Yes.
It's very powerful. You know, and I do actually have that scene on my phone, and I watch it. There's some scenes that go through that really mean a lot to me. Couple of other scenes actually that I keep in mind. There's this 60s movie, and I will have to talk to you about it because Dwayne has seen the Sita or Gita starting, you know, Hindi cinema and South Indian cinema legend Hema Malini. Sita or Gita is such a fantastic movie, and it is also something I keep in mind when something happens to one of the characters and the way she sort of, it's like, and I love it. Anyway, so there's these things that happen. So I love that movie for that. And then what else is, there's a lot of things that happen in here, in this movie. Yeah. And there's also a really great line that, my gosh, I do take a lot from this movie. One of my favorite Eurostream movie lines ever is, it's not who you are underneath, it's what you do that defines you.
That's good.
You know,
yeah.
And that is originally said by Rachel Dawes, who in Batman Begins is played by Katie Holmes. But then when Batman says it back to her, that's when she realizes, oh my God, it's Bruce. And she had originally said it to Bruce and trying to, you know, like put Bruce down, like, okay, Bruce, while some of us are out here saving the world, you go and be a playboy, because that's the role he's playing. He's got to play that role so people never, ever know he's actually Batman and never equate that with him. And he's also got to play that role because he doesn't sleep. So at least if he's pretending to be a billionaire playboy, he can get some sleep. You know, if he has to go to work and be a mature man of the world, oh my gosh. So that's what I'm saying. Billionaires have to make a choice, save the world or be an asshole. And in reality, that's what the billionaires have chosen to be. Anyway, they could have been saving the world. Anyway, so that's then the next one. Look, I think that even if you're not a Batman fan, even if you're just a movie fan, if you're a movie fan, and if you like these kinds of movies, I guess, but I don't know, The Dark Knight.
What a movie. My favorite scene is The Dark Knight. How many scenes in a movie?
Oh, The Dark Knight. Okay, when was that? I don't remember, but my gosh. And this is unfortunately, I think it was, oh gosh, I remember I was in Bali when I heard that Heath Ledger had died.
2008.
That he had committed suicide.
Sorry, that was the movie.
Yeah, but I think 2009 is when, oh my gosh, you know, because Heath Ledger's portrayal of the Joker is legendary. Legendary. He won the Academy Awards, Best Actor or Supporting Actor or something. Deserved, but it also a bit like, well, I think it's a bit unfair to do that. I think there should have been a special award for that because he wasn't alive anymore. So it really shouldn't have been given to him. It should have been given to someone else because these awards should be given to people who are alive, not people who have passed away, as much as they deserve it. But he should have been recognized specifically for that because this is truly such an incredible performance that Heath Ledger forgot that he was Heath Ledger.
Yeah. And
this really affected Christian Bale as well, and all of them. Because Heath Ledger was just, I don't know where to start with. He was, as they say now, he ate up every scene he's in. Even if he's not in the scene, it's because the threat of him. The threat of him. And my favorite scenes for him are, okay, so are you showing a favorite scene of yours?
For Heath Ledger scene?
Yeah. But, okay, so,
What do we got?
alright, so.
Matches on prints, DNA, dental, clothing is custom, no labels. Nothing in his pockets but names in it. No name. No other alias.
Go home, Gordon. The clown will keep till morning. Go get some rest.
You're gonna need it. Tomorrow you take the big job. We don't have any say in the matter, Commissioner Gordon.
oh my God, you maniac.
Yeah.
He's just so great. So also I did like Gary Oldman as Commissioner Gordon.
Yes.
I did like very much
Very
like
good. Best Gordon.
Best Gordon, definitely the best Gordon. So let's continuing to with this movie. The scenes in this are just one excellent scene upon the other, and so much of Heath Ledger's Joker is very much he's talking about society, and he says that it's quite a grim view of society, and I think this is really the Eurostream capitalist view of society, that there is this, that the opposites are evil and good rather than an equity. They think in terms of extremes rather than tiers of equity. It's crazy, but so many scenes in this. Now, my favorite scene. Oh God, I don't know. Look, I don't think we can show this because I don't know. Well, it's late. If you're here, you should understand we're showing you scenes from some very dark scenes from The Dark Knight. Intense scenes is what I mean. Now, the first scene apparently that Heath Ledger and Christian Bale had to shoot was that interrogation scene when, the interrogation scene. So that one. And it's perfectly shot and it's absolutely lovely. But in order, and I know this is going to sound a bit bizarre what I'm saying, so my apologies, but they had to keep it clean because they didn't want to have an R rating for it, so they couldn't. We seem to have lost equipment. No, we're fine. So there couldn't be any blood in this scene, but you really need to see this scene because I think it's actual perfection. The first scene, and Heath Ledger said to Christian Bale, "Go for it," because they needed to show intensity.
I was right here. Who have you been with? Your people. Assuming, of course, that they are still your people and not Maroonies. Does it depress you, Commissioner, to know just how alone you really are? Does it make you feel responsible for Harvey Dent's current predicament?
So I don't know how long, so I'm going to keep talking through it until a certain point because I really don't want YouTube to, punish us for some sort of copyright infringement. But this is such an incredible scene that I can't.
I'm gonna black handles. I'm gonna need a cup of coffee.
The good cop, bad cop routine.
Not exactly.
Like.
Never start with the head. The victim gets all fuzzy.
See,
I feel the next.
Yeah, right.
I love that.
See?
Okay.
Here I am. I wanted to see what you do.
Okay, so, right, I'm going to turn back to us now. That is classic, absolutely classic, that scene. Because, of course, this is their first scene they shot, and it's so intense, it gets more and more intense as this scene goes on. So you have to go look at it yourself. Mm-hmm. But that line that he says there...
Yeah, right.
I read somewhere, and I am totally up with this theory, that because this Batman is based in a reality, right? So the Nolanverse Batman is based on real world stuff. So that the Joker was actually a CIA interrogator.
What? When you told me that, I was like, hang on a second.
That line where you hear him say, "Don't start with the head," it's like, and then another line he says, and I love this scene. There is another scene that the Joker is interacting with the other baddies, and like these guys, these tough guys, all the mafia guys, right? They think they're really like something, and they think they're really tough, and then the Joker walks in, and Heath Ledger is not perfection, and then the whole "why so serious" thing too is so, so good. I love it. I loved everything. And then we had a change of character as well. In this one, we have Maggie Gyllenhaal I think, is it Gyllenhaal?
Gyllenhaal. I don't know.
Gyllenhaal. It's not as it's spelled, of course. These names never are. They say all our people of the global majority names are hard, but hello, they don't have any problem pronouncing those Irish Celtic ones and names like this. And also things like, do you know that like that guy, Ralph? It looks like Ralph Fiennes. It's Rafe Fine. Anyway, I digress again. Anyway, so this scene is so good. And what the Joker is saying in this movie is, what is he saying? But he's trying to test people, and there's a huge moral or ethical test. You know what we haven't discussed is the test between people. If you've watched this, spoiler alert if you haven't, but if you have watched The Dark Knight, then you know that at the end of it, the Joker has done this thing where he makes two sets of groups of people choose to save the other. Now, the dilemma here is one boat is filled with prisoners and bad people and people who are punished, etc., etc.
Prisoners.
Yeah, prisoners. All right. You know, some aren't bad, some are bad, and many are bad, all are bad, whatever. And the other boat is just a normal boat, a ferry full of normal people, children, innocent commuters, and stuff like that. And both get given a remote that detonates the bomb in the other boat. And they say somebody has to do it, because if they don't...
like midnight or something.
Yeah, before midnight, before both go up, right?
Yeah, or both.
Or both go up.
Yeah.
So somebody's got to detonate the other boat or something like that. And now it's like the dilemma is, who does that? So everyone thinks, well, of course, you know, the people in the boat, the prisoner boat will do it. And the people in the non-prisoner boat or the citizens boat, they say, well, they're prisoners. Why should they live and we die kind of thing?
Yeah, and also, like, if we don't do it, they will definitely do it.
Right.
So we might as well off them.
Right. So, but in the movie, neither one does it. Now, what we haven't discussed is how, and what do you think? If you're listening or if you're watching afterwards, I'd love to know in the comments, what do you think would happen in real life? Would people choose to do this? Do you think in real life, what does it come down to, a moral or an ethical dilemma? Because moral and ethics are two different things. Ethical, I think, is about what you consider the right thing to do humanity-wise. Morals, I think, are based on a set of rules that are a construct, and they usually come through religion. Or, you know, sort of like rules of, it goes against the morals of the school.
Well, I guess, okay, so real life, one of the factors wouldn't be there. Batman. True. So that changes the situation.
How? Because he had nothing to do with that boat situation.
So what's the real life situation? There's a terrorist. He's got 2 bombs set on boats, and that's how it goes down. If you don't detonate, so where's Batman in this? Who's Batman? Is it the police?
Yeah,
is it the SWAT?
I don't know.
Is it
we have
CIA?
no Batman.
Yeah.
The reality is all these billionaires, but no Batman.
That's right.
No Batman. You know, unfortunately, we've got to all use our meager, money to save ourselves from these billionaires. The billionaires. Oh my God. So there's no Batman. There's no Batman. It makes me sad that we all try and be the Batman as as much as possible. You know, it makes me very sad.
So it's just, there's heaps of scenes in this movie. Right?
Yeah.
And that the conversation that he has with Harvey in the hospital.
Yeah.
About anarchy and what it really is. Or, you know, what do you choose? Because, you know, Harvey Dent's all about the choice.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's just so many societal notions, and Nolan very much makes movies about what is pertinent in society. So that's that. But I just look, I don't know. It's all just terrifying. But let's go back to this movie. I love this movie. It is absolute perfection. But you do have to find we have to watch this scene. This is one of my favorite scenes. This is where you really know. This is the second time where he says something. The Joker says something that you know he's actually more. There's more to him than just some sort of criminal. He's actually an assassin. I feel an ex-CIA interrogator. You know.
And I thought my jokes were bad.
Any more reason
reason why I shouldn't have my boy here pull your head off.
How about a magic trick? I'm gonna make this pencil disappear.
You never see the violence in the Nolan movie.
Nolan never shows the actual violence.
It wasn't cheap. You want to know? You bought it.
Shit. I want to hear your position.
See that hum? I mean, not see, hear that hum?
Let's wind the clocks back a year. These cops and lawyers wouldn't dare cross any of you. I mean, what happened? Did your balls drop off? You see, a guy like me, a guy like me, look, listen, I know why you choose to have your little group therapy sessions in broad daylight. I know why you're afraid to go out.
That's Julia Roberts' brother, apparently.
The Batman.
There it goes.
See, Batman has shown Gotham your true colors, unfortunately. Dent, he's just the beginning. And as for the television's so-called plan, Batman has no jurisdiction. He'll find him and make him squeal. I know the squealers when I see them.
See? That line.
Put your proposal.
So, I love that line because that's where I think, there you go. This is proof that this character is based on real life, because gosh knows what's happening in this world. It's terrifying. Anyway, this movie is super, super wonderful. What I really, really hate that it's always the black man that has to go, and I can't stand some of the depictions of black people in Nolan's movies. Maybe there is some sort of subliminal, unconscious bias in a hell of a lot of it. It's hard, but as you say, that they make what they know. That's what they know. Whereas people of multicultural, we know all the world, so what the things we make, So you know what you know. You make what you know. And there are people who can make things. Anyway, so this is still, look, I don't want to say anything bad about this movie because I love it. And also, you have to show your favorite scene, which is also my favorite scene.
All right.
Oh, there's so much in here that's good, and everyone goes on and on about the scene where Heath Ledger walks away.
We can just talk about the rest of the scenes.
Yeah, okay.
So we do have to show all of them.
No, I guess not.
Yeah, so we can show this one though. This is the.
Oh yeah, this one. This is what I'm saying. This is the one I'm talking about.
Okay.
Because I was going to talk about that hospital scene. We don't have to show
Oh
you.
yeah, that's a good scene too.
Because it was completely impromptu, but I think there was a mistake. No, I don't know if there was a mistake or something.
The detonator timing and the explosion was off.
Yeah, something. And then it didn't. But it was all. But Heath Ledger rolled with it, and it was all just really quite amazing. But he stayed in this, he went into method mode and stayed in this character, and unfortunately this is why he couldn't pull himself out of it. I loved Heath Ledger. 10 Things I Hate About You. I love that movie so much. Mm-hmm. He was so fantastic in it. Oh, we didn't actually show the Tumbler. So that's our actual favorite Batmobile, the Tumbler.
Yes.
So, but we will show you one very, very excellent part and aspect and attribute of the Tumbler.
Yeah, I think this is the one.
Yeah, it is.
Is it?
It is. It is. It would be. So this is one. So the Tumbler, which is the Nolanverse Batmobile, is our favorite. We ask at each other and things. What is your dream car? Like for me, it is a concept car called the Holden Effigy that came out like 15 years ago. It doesn't exist. It's beautiful. I'll show you another time. But this is Dwayne's favorite car, the Tumbler from Batman, but this is our favorite scene, and this is one attribute of the Tumbler. So that's the Tumbler, but it's damaged.
And this is just how beautiful is this. Bye-bye, Tumbler.
No, so this is the Bat Pod. And it's gorgeous, and you have to just watch this. And this whole scene is something, it's next level. It's so good. But I don't know how far away. Oh, look how, Oh, and then of course we get to Dark Knight Rises, which has got one of the best scenes ever.
Okay, rack 'em up, rack 'em up, rack 'em up, rack 'em up.
Right. So,
Yes, I know which one you're talking about.
Yes, of course.
I've got that, yeah.
of course. So how far does this go? So I don't know how long. Like, I'm sorry. I'm just going to
jump scene.
I'm just going to yeah, we're going to jump a little because we don't really know
Pause it.
how. Look, I'm just going to just turn that off and you can listen to us until we just cue it to that scene. But yeah, there's a bit here coming up, right? We absolutely. Oh, is it?
Wait. Hang on.
So let me
find it first.
Yeah. So okay, I will turn this around back to us.
Yeah.
And we just absolutely love this scene for this. But yeah, the tumbler is our favorite vehicle.
So this is it, right?
Yeah, over here.
Okay.
I hope, because sorry about this back of house stuff.
That's all right. I mean, this is how can you plan this?
We can't plan it.
This is real.
This is real. Reality TV. So, oh yeah, I love this movie so much. Look, I really love this movie. Oh gosh. Heath Ledger, like, that's just crazy. So,
yeah,
we're just queuing this up.
Right.
Dwayne is just queuing this up so that we can show you our favorite. And so we initially, when we first sort of wrote down, like, what are we going to show? We were going to pick our own scenes. But so many of our scenes coincide, our favorite scenes in each movie. And certainly this one is one of our favorite scenes ever because, I don't know, you kind of have to be a bit of a movie nerd maybe or a Batman nerd to understand why it's so hot. I just love it. Oh.
That's the Batman. Even he knows. He's like, yes.
Oh. Sorry, I don't know if that thrills you as much as it does us, but we're like, ah! We're such nerds. I don't know. Or we're just real fans of movie making and characterization, character making, and being able to create things that are really thrilling and bringing a character that is beloved to life. So anyway, that's The Dark Knight. We love this movie. This movie itself is perfection. And I think any Batman movie fan will tell you that this is right up there. This may be the best movie of them all in the whole Batman movie making history. So, yeah, but then The Dark Knight Rises. Like, this movie just guts me. I don't know why. If I wanted to
I mean, what about that scene, the extraction scene?
Oh my God. Look, I'm sorry. We really have to show you this one.
Okay.
Because that was the other one. So after, he said, after the Joker said that one squealer kind of thing, Yeah, there's another good scene. And I loved, I did say something about Nolan's depiction of black people, but of course he then puts one of the ultimate black entertainers, performers, Morgan Freeman, and then there's who plays Lucius Fox. And I loved. It was all very, stuff. And there's not much female presence, although Maggie Gyllenhaal plays a really good. And this is an interesting thing that you said for both movies and the times that they were set in. Katie Holmes was right. She got a lot of flack for being Rachel Dawes, but she was the right Rachel Dawes for that first movie.
Sure, yeah.
Because Maggie Gyllenhaal was the right kind of lawyer who had matured and was a bit sassy and stuff like that. I really liked her depiction. I really liked how she played that. So now we're going to show you this scene that is super, gorgeous, really. Oh, look, I can't handle this scene. Look, if we were Batman, we would be doing all these things. You want us to go extract someone, we'll go. Just, give it. We'll do it. You can jump off everything. You like jumping out of planes and stuff.
See, Batman doesn't need to be told to go and actually
That's right. You just do it. But what I'm saying is we need the billions.
Yeah.
We need to go find all this stuff. But, yeah. So, and you can go and do all that stuff. I can do, do other stuff, and you can go jump off the buildings and jump out of airplanes and stuff like that. So between you and me, we are Batman.
Sure.
We just don't have the billions. This is so perfection. Like, watch this.
I love the flutter of the cape as it goes past.
Okay, this is just. So we have to keep sort of talking because I'm a bit worried that we're going to be hit with copyright stuff. So, but look at how perfect this depict. Oh, look, this is comic book nerd orgasm stuff. Okay, and then watch this. Shh.
It times it.
Oh, it's so good. And then this is ninja stuff. This is his. But of course, he can't be a ninja. He's Batman. I love the soundtrack. Music is so important to set the scene for everything. People do not understand how music.
Yeah, this is.
Oh, I love this. But also, that's a very uncomfortable way to pull someone. Like, come on, Bruce. Pull him by the ankle.
There to make things comfortable.
I don't care. Oh, okay. This is so super cool. But also, pull him by the ankle. That foothold makes no sense to me.
So this Batman.
Okay. Shh. Okay. Like, this is just.
That's a big plane, so it'd be rumbling, right?
Yeah, it would be rumbling the entire bloody building. See, we could do that. We just need that airplane.
Yeah.
We just need someone.
Billions of dollars.
And somebody, just not for us to spend, for us to go and heal the world. You and I could absolutely start. We have the solutions. We could bring on all the people. We could be the League of Bat. Billionaires attacking the tyranny.
Yeah, the League of
Billionaires against tyranny. No. Billionaires against tyranny. Join us. We're going to fight tyranny. But we need the money because you can't do it. It's weird. Only the privileged can abolish this shit. People who are, and then artists need to ban, and people need to also, So as we were saying, we want to be rich. We want to be billionaires so that we can have these banks that artists can just have. So not grants, because you don't apply for these things. So we have platforms like media platforms, and like our magazine and our television things and radio. So, be contributors, and you don't need to get paid because you get everything paid for. So you're free to do your art and earn money from it to live a luxurious life. But I think that if everyone could get all their bills paid, every single bill, and all fundamentals as well as a bit more. So not just the bare minimum of things, you've got to be frugal. That's like, wow, I don't know. Anyway, so that's just our dream. And who knows, Who knows, maybe in 1,000 years' time when we get reincarnated. Because somebody might go back in time and say, hey, those people were saying some interesting things. Let's go dig their particles up. Or from wherever we came. So, now the third movie, Dark Knight Rises. Look, it was slightly problematic, right? Still, only because of Bane. People thought Bane was just not a strong enough character, particularly after Heath Ledger's Joker. Now, I'm not a fan of Tom Hardy, but I actually really loved the way he played Bane. And, but also, you remember you were saying, sorry, I'd never give Dwayne a chance to talk. But you were saying, you told me that initially, or did I tell you this?
What?
The sound for Bane was awful. They had to redub it. You told me, right?
Yeah.
They really, Nolan wanted some weirdo noise. I didn't mind it, but they said it was too muffled or something.
Right, yeah.
And it's like, well, the guy's wearing a mask.
That's it,
and
yeah.
supposedly, once you watch the movie, again, spoiler alert, so when you watch the movie, you'll see what initially happens to Bane to make him have to wear that mask. And what we're supposed to imagine from this, because Nolan's signature is to not show the moment of impact, the moment of violence. So he'll get right there, and it's just, it's fantastic. It's crazy. I love that because I hate seeing violence on screen. I don't think the reality of violence is bad enough. I don't understand why people like horror. People who without enough horror in their life need horror to have some sort of adrenaline fix so that you can feel alive. What is going on? I don't know. God. Good Lord. Anyway, so The Dark Knight Rises, right? But I love it. And primarily for Selena Kyle, played by Anne Hathaway, who is my favorite Hollywood white actress. I love Anne Hathaway. Seriously, she is. I don't know why people hated her for a while. Maybe because she was too good at what she did. It's weird. People want their artists to be a certain way, and when they are that way, then they want to pull them. I don't really get any of this. But anyway, Anne Hathaway as Selena Kyle in The Dark Knight Rises is pure perfection. And what is perfection is the introduction to Selena Kyle in this movie. So there's a lot of things. So I think it's almost 10 years after all that time, and Bruce has sort of disappeared from sight, because come on, like, there's a really fantastic scene in this where Bruce has gone to hospital because he wants to get back in the game. And at this stage, even though they've been doing all this for a long time, Commissioner Gordon doesn't know who Batman really is, and he wants it that way because really, Gordon knows that by the laws of their constructs, Batman's a vigilante, but Commissioner Gordon also knows that Batman is the only hero, and Gordon has been hiding the terrible secret that he's been keeping from the second movie as to who actually was the bad guy, and it was Harvey Dent. Spoiler alert! I should have said that before. Oh well, but I did. But that was it. So there's all these moral dilemmas or ethical dilemmas in everyone's stuff. So these are really brilliant movies. So people that like to give Dark Knight Rises, the third one, some flack, but I absolutely love it. Mm-hmm. And I also really, really, really love. Are we looking at the appointment at the hospital?
Yeah.
And not the introduction to Selena Kyle.
Yeah, because that's what you were talking about just now, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I was, but I really do. Well, not really, but I did like this line of when you hear what's wrong with him. Right. So okay, let's have a look at this. But not really. This is not really the most.
Cars around the place. Yes. One or two.
I need an appointment at the hospital for my leg.
Which hospital?
Whichever one Jim Gordon's in.
So Alfred knows that means he wants to go back into it. Now this car, this Lamborghini.
I've seen worse cartilage in these.
It's good.
No, that's because there is no cartilage in your knee, and not much of any use in your elbows or your shoulders. Between that and the scar tissue on your kidneys, the residual concussive damage to your brain tissue, and the general scarred over quality of your body, I cannot recommend that you go to the skin, Mr. Lee.
There he goes. There he goes.
Jumps out the window.
Oh my God, that's Batman. And I love this about Bruce Wayne. He could be just go and relax at home, but he doesn't want to do that. He wants to use his privilege to go and do something different in the world. This whole movie makes me cry and what he has to go through, because I don't know, something about it makes me look. There's just something some similarities and things about it that
you relate.
Oh, I don't want to say that.
Well, I mean, that's people. Other people relate to things.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a superhero to relate to a superhero.
I feel a bit embarrassed to say that, but there's a lot of things in this movie I actually relate to. It's weird. So anyway, so I oh yeah, this is the best one. This is a really, really good clip coming up. This is the second one that Dwayne has found that I really, this is both of us really, really enjoy this scene because it is pure perfection in direction and in acting. The subtlety in this, and it's so hot, and just the versatility in a good actor is really amazing. I really, really love this scene for that.
They're both strong actors.
Yes, both very, very strong actors. And so I think Anne Hathaway and Heath Ledger had already acted together in Brokeback Mountain. And so, of course, they're all around the same age, where they all have been acting in movies together, etc. So what was I saying about the last thing? I want to be complete. But anyway, so that I felt like I resonated. But thank you for showing that clip, because I found that really amusing. Because, you know, he's like, oh, yeah, well, that's just a body kind of thing. What's the point of having it if you can't go and use it for anything else? Anyway.
That's not why he really went there.
No, that's not why he went there. This is like, yeah, I don't care. I'm sure he knows it's his body. But I guess, okay, in my very teeny tiny way, like I've functioned with a fractured spine and broken bones
and a popped rib and what? How long?
Yeah.
6
You know,
weeks?
I know this is, but I also understand, and I found that funny because it's like, well, no, you just get on with it. Anyway, I'm not saying that that's what you should do. I really do not recommend that. And this is why, you know, problems happen. Anyway, here we go. This is one of my and Dwayne's favorite scenes in this movie, in any movie ever.
I'm so terribly sorry, Mr. Wayne. It is Mr. Wayne, isn't it? Although you don't have the long nails or the facial scars, sir.
What would they say about me?
It's just that no one ever sees you.
That's a beautiful necklace. Reminds me of one that belonged to my mother. It can't be the same one, because her pearls are in the safe. The manufacturer clearly explained it's uncrackable.
Oops. Nobody told me it was uncrackable.
I'm afraid I can't let you take those.
Look, you wouldn't beat up a woman any more than I would beat up a cripple. Sometimes exceptions have to be made.
If she did all her stunts.
Good night, Mr. Wayne.
Like, come on. What? Oh, splendid, except for the littering here, but then, you know, she probably thinks,
She's a woman. Kid. And that's a billionaire's house. Yeah.
But look at her, she's just spectacular.
Can I have a ride?
You read my mind. Let's go.
Because also, this is she has just gotten into the limo with a congressman, and, you know, the kind of usual one that you'd expect to see. So, I mean, my gosh, and then that scene where she returns him.
Yes.
Hilarious. Look, you have to watch this movie alone for Selena Kyle, for Anne Hathaway as Selena Kyle, because she plays this as pure perfection. I absolutely love this movie for her. So are there any other scenes you want to show? There's not really those standout scenes. If anything, it's
the tunnel scene.
Oh my gosh. How can I say... Okay, this is the best scene of all, because Bruce has retired. Okay, Batman has disappeared, right? So no one has seen him for years. And now Bruce has also been out of the scene, but not for as long as Batman. Bruce retired about 3 years in this universe. So he's still been around, but he hasn't been, you know. And there's 2 strong female leads. Nolan's a big fan of... Oh my God, how could I forget Interstellar? That's one of our favorite movies ever. Oh my gosh. So Anna Hathaway is, again, another very favorite character, Dr. Anne Brand. And she has this wonderful, wonderful monologue about love. And I think the script was written by Nolan. And yeah, this beautiful monologue about the strength and the science of love. It was fantastic. Anyway, so Marianne Cotillard, she's another one who is a favorite of his. I think she may be in Oppenheimer. I don't know. But she's in Inception. And there's 2 strong characters. But this was a real twist. The character, there was again. Okay, I'm not going to give you a spoiler for this one, but go and watch it. It was a real nice twist. So about who everyone turned out to be, blah blah blah. But oh gosh, when he comes back to Gotham, it's great. But anyway, let's see. Favorite. Well, okay, out of lots of favorites. Okay, this one is just super favorite. Okay, because it's just, look, it's classic. Look, just watch it.
That's a classic Batman. Shit. Just that black blur, you know?
Oh, and of course, I love Joseph Gordon-Levitt in this
yes,
one.
yes, of course.
So there you go. That's a return of Batman on the Batpod, and it's super, super cool. And this idiot.
Yeah, the entire police force is after him.
And you know, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I can't remember what his name is, and you don't find out till later. I won't make that spoiler anyway. Or should we? Go and see these. These are good, but he was good in that too. So a lot of this movie doesn't make sense in some ways, and then we're all doing the timeline. So how long has he been away, and how long does it take? You've got to calculate. Then you think, wait a moment. Not only is he Bruce Wayne, he is Batman. It is very possible for him to get to from one side of the world to the other.
Yeah,
so that
right.
Because he's a billionaire, he would have stashed things everywhere. So that's pretty good. Now we have to start talking about look, how long are we being the Snyderverse? Sorry, but you can always come back to this because this will be left on our feeds. We could talk about Batman forever. You don't have to listen. You can come back.
Batman forever.
So if we're going to go into the DC side of things, look, I am not a fan of Batfleck. Oh, just before we continue,
Batman is all DC.
I mean, sorry, the Warner Brothers.
Batman is Warner Brothers.
No, okay, what I mean is
Snyderverse?
the Snyderverse.
Right.
But also, I just wanted to clarify what Dwayne had said. So that's a classic line from comics. There's two classic things, and that actually one of them is in this movie when Batman does the dodging in like at the flash of gunfire, and so all you see is Batman here and here and here and here. Pretty much how I talk sometimes, really. Just choo 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 choo. That's Batman. So that's a favorite scene, but that's the older cop says that, you're whatever, blah, blah, blah. They always show the cops to be so nice in these movies, right? Anyway. So, yeah, that's a classic from comics and old stuff. So, we're going to get to Snyderverse. Now, Batfleck. Ben Affleck. Yeah. I'm not convinced. Look, I'm not convinced. But this is where we get to how Dwayne and I differ in how we like our Batman to look. Whilst I really like Christian Bale's svelte, leaner look.
Okay,
Ninja
so
look.
this is what you don't understand every time I say this. Okay, Christian Bale is the best Batman,
Right.
hands down.
Right.
But I like Ben Affleck's action. Just all that. I actually do like him in the Snyderverse as Batman. He's a good Batman for that universe.
Yeah, sure.
And I love the way he moves.
Sure.
As Batman. And
Because
that is it. And I like the suit.
I know, because, okay, so the way Dwayne tends to draw his Batmans is more brawler bat, as you call it. And that's the influence of the Frank Miller style of drawing. And that's just, action hero type, style. And so that's why you like me. That really keeps it to that. And Ben Affleck, I think he plays the best Bruce Wayne. As Bruce Wayne, he's really believable as a playboy who doesn't do anything.
Also, he's supposed to be an older, like...
Yes, he's the more mature one.
Late 40s, early 50s.
Right,
Bruce,
right.
Which is Christian Bale in The Dark Knight Rises.
Right.
Almost around 50.
Right. So, and he's come back, and now he's made to whatever. So, again, they're not related, these, so we just like to link these things to see what age group and who would be right. So, as Dwayne has said, each Batman is perfect for the universe, for the Batverse they're in, and their director is in. Now, I like Snyder's way of making, even though they insist on making that alien colonizer the main boy. Like, give me a break. Okay? Jor-El sent Kal-El to Earth because Earth is the weakest and therefore Kal-El will be the strongest. I'm sorry, but that's colonizer shit. And I'm not here for it. We talk a little bit about that. It's like, oh my God, who cares? It's Diana and Bruce. They're the best. Those are our two favorite anyway. So, but I do like a lot of that. Now, I really, really hated Joss Whedon's version of Justice League. I hated it. It's like, what is this? As much as I'm not really, I really loved Man of Steel. Yeah. And Henry Cavill supposedly is a dick, so I'm sorry about that, but I really liked Man of Steel. Because for the first time, I really liked the portrayal of Lois Lane. Lois Lane is she's like, look, Lois Lane has always been portrayed as some sort of, I don't like her, but I really like Amy Adams' portrayal of it, except, oh gosh, we're going to talk about the Snyder Cut.
Batman. Not Lois.
Sorry, we were talking about Man of Steel, so I'm just saying about that. You know, I like Snyder. I like Zack Snyder's way of filming. I love the dark tones, those rich.
How about the music, though?
Look, I can't talk about that, okay? About Zack Snyder's choice of music. But we're going to talk about... So is there anything you want to talk about? You like Batman versus Superman and the fight they have, because that fight makes a lot of sense.
Okay, so the warehouse scene.
The warehouse scene.
So when he says...
Do you want to show?
Martha. Yeah.
So
we always have this argument. Like, who would win in a fight, right? Batfleck or Christian Bale? Batman.
Yep.
Yeah.
Christian Bale.
Right. I think Batfleck would destroy Christian Bale's Batman.
Listen, I just had to tell you something. Dwayne's right, and I'm not that kind of wife or woman or person where I am deliberately going to say the opposite, even though I know he's right. It's just that I don't like Ben Affleck, and I refuse to let his Batfleck win this fight. So as far as I'm concerned, Christian Bale is going to win that fight.
For many reasons. Because Ben Affleck's Batman is in a universe with metahumans. So he has to be extra superpowered. He's got to have that. He moves different. Christian Bale's Batman is in a real world situation.
Gosh.
You know what I mean?
Your logic makes me fall in love with you more and more, and also like, shut up.
So you can't put the Christian Bale's Batman against Ben Affleck's Batman, because Ben Affleck's Batman will just destroy.
No one needs to get more like hornier over your logic, and also like, shut up, okay, shut up. Like,
so this fight scene, just
anyway, but you got to see this fight scene.
Yeah, fight
scene coming up.
I love this.
And look, I don't like violence. You know what I really, really hate about all the Snyder movies? Actually, the violence. That's what really put me off. I don't like the violence.
Well, like we always say, right? You're going to watch a Zack Snyder movie.
You're going to watch
Zack Snyder.
You're going to watch Dark Tones.
Don't come out going, what the fuck?
It's the destruction of cities I can't stand. I can't stand that.
This whole thing, man, his entrance into the warehouse, look at the shadow of the bat in the glass, alright?
Okay.
I mean, he just kills everyone here. What the fuck?
Oh my god, I thought he didn't kill. See, Batfleck kills.
Yeah. No problem.
Oh god.
He's like 50, he doesn't give a shit anymore.
Right, because he knows now that people are shitheads. But I like him.
Yeah. Who's your favorite Alfred?
Oh, that's interesting. Who's
my favorite Alfred is Sandy Circus.
Yeah, well,
Third floor. Why don't I drop you off on the second?
Wait, here we go. We're gonna jump out. And then get out. Hey, you can't tell me. Okay, I'm just gonna shut up.
Yeah, okay, clearly, but I just need to. I'm still very aware because I could get lost in watching the movie. I'm still very aware of that we're going to put this on YouTube.
Right.
So I'm talking about copyright infringement. I don't want to.
Sure.
That's why I'm talking.
Yeah.
So that's why I need to know. Is there anything more you need to see with this? Okay, well I'm going to turn this.
It's just yeah.
You just like the way he just. Okay, look. In reality, look. I'm turning this back to us now. In reality, I guess this is what's happening. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening in places where people fight with each other. I'm so sad that this is a reality in this world, that there are countries where people are shooting at each other, and that we now live in a world where each city we live in, like Sydney more and more, Sydney and Melbourne, there's so much to we all look for a Batman. I remember, where was this? Was this during the Capitol the riots in Washington, when there's some dude dressed as Batman, and then you can hear it clearly, and I'm not racial profiling by a stereotyping, but it was clearly a black American's voice going, "There's Batman, my man," kind of thing, and everyone's hyping this guy who's just dressed as Batman walking through the crowd, and it looks pretty damn good. It did the rounds, it went viral. But also, like, bullshit. He's just going there to get content. Going there to look cool. He didn't go and stop anybody, didn't go and help anybody. I can't remember what the scene was. But it's sad. Like, people just go there, dress up for bullshit reasons so that they can go viral on social media while people are really, really losing their lives. And yeah, sure, here we are just dedicating an entire evening because it's Batman Day, because we love the creativity of people. I love characterization. I love imagination. It's important to have these things in our lives and talk about these things. And important to, expand your viewpoint of the world and taking the characters and how you see the things you like, the people you associate with, the entertainment and the celebrities and the sports people, whatever people you resonate with, show your outlook on the world, is how I feel. Anyway. So we're talking about the Snyderverse, and then Joss Whedon, what he did to it. That's disgusting. I hated that movie so much, his version of Justice League.
Yeah, it was weak. It's like he didn't understand what he had to work with.
Yeah.
So...
It was terrible, because I definitely liked Batfleck in Snyderverse. I mean, I liked the whole movie. Just, it was a completely different movie. I loved it, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about Batfleck. And and I also, again, this is perhaps really bad, but every time Ben Affleck was in a scene with Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, Ben Affleck looked really fantastic. And he was a bit more of, and I actually, now that you've said these things, I realize, yeah, okay, I'm softening. He is an older Batman. And he's, no need to sort of be so intense about himself. He doesn't take himself as seriously, I think, now. And so when another character asks him, "What's your superpower?" he says, "I'm rich." Bruce Wayne says he's rich. That's his superpower. In reality, yes, the world we live in views money as a superpower. Money is the power, but money is not what makes... money is not what gives you power. Money is not a power that needs to be used that way. I think I've written something about it. I don't know, on the last caption, I don't know what I wrote. I just wrote as I was writing. So yes, in the real world, that is a truth. Those with money have the power. And that's really not fair, because what it should be is that those with money have responsibility. And that's not what's happening. Anyway, so... Batfleck, yeah, okay. Not my favorite, but I get it now, and I'm actually now softening to it. Something happened in the Snyderverse, and I softened to it, and I quite liked the way, because Ben Affleck always has this, like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, you poor squillionaire, wealthy celebrity, privileged life." How he's always like, "Woe is me," because unfortunately, he used to be an alcoholic. Now, that's the other thing. It's an interesting thing about branding, because nowadays people cannot detach the character from the actor, which is why, as Quentin Tarantino said and got really maligned for, and the only person who actually came out and said something in response to response to what Quentin Tarantino said against Marvel, is that people don't go to the cinemas anymore to watch the actors. They go to watch the characters. And he's right. And the only guy, Simu Liu was the only one who came out and said, how dare you say that? Basically, blah, blah, blah. He said it in a witty way. Whereas he was the only one I went to see. Like, I went to see you and I went to see Shang-Chi for that movie, right? Because of Simu Liu. So,
Yeah.
But who goes to the movies to see Chris Evans? Please.
Yeah, we go to watch Captain America.
And who
I
goes
think
to the
that's what
movies to
he's
see
saying,
what's his name? They're all just, people, I'm sorry, they're terrible actors. And I really hate to say this, but Gal Gadot is anything other than Wonder Woman. Look, I love her. And I loved her in the other good pairing with an opposite Han, right, in Fast and Furious. I don't even remember anything else about these movies except that. But anyway, Batfleck, right? So Ben Affleck is such a sad sack. It's like, oh my gosh, what's your problem? But obviously, privilege does not shield you from great, I don't know, angst or whatever, because he was in rehab and had problems, alcohol problems, etc., etc.
Oh, yeah.
And married to Jennifer Garner for a long time. Now he's with Jennifer Lopez. And they were together. So it's all really, like, who cares about these people? But Batfleck is always like, oh, yeah, look, I have to go save the world again. Poor me, don't worry about me. Me, human, I will go save the world. You meta-humans, you go on ahead. It's like, what are you doing, you idiot? But that's the thing. He did capture the spirit of Batman in that regard. Batfleck did. Because that's the other thing. It's like, why is everyone going gaga over alien colonizer boy, when Batman is a human being who says to everyone, you go ahead, I'll protect you. Like, what?
Well, I mean...
You go ahead, you're the human. They're the super demi people, goddess, superpowered people.
Yeah.
And what do you mean?
Oh, no, because Cyborg mentions that he thought he was a myth.
Right.
He wasn't real, and he goes, I am what I need to be.
Ooh.
So I'm just taking from that not many people know that Batman's real. So he's just a myth.
Oh.
So
so
that's why it's not as famous as Superman as well.
Right. So I didn't pick that up in that, because I know that's how Diana is played in this one, Wonder Woman. Anyway, so we're not talking about the Justice League, we're talking about Batman. Now we get to the biggest surprise of all. All right, now we're going to get to the final Batman, right? So we're not talking about Snyderverse anymore. We've gone through that, but I have softened to Ben Affleck as Batfleck. Now, this movie, I was adamant I was not going to see at all. Because when we first heard about it, etc., etc., and Dwayne's like, oh, this is going to be great, blah, 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 Matt Reeves. Dwayne follows directors. He judges a movie by the director. And I didn't know it, but I did too. And so Dwayne sort of maybe, like, even though I am a natural director, it's like interesting that I didn't pick up on that as well. So yes, definitely the director makes the big difference to this. So now you were very excited about The Batman, directed by Matt Reeves. So now tell me a little bit about Matt Reeves. I mean,
great director. Planet of the Apes. What's that? Cloverfield.
Oh yeah, Cloverfield was really interesting. I liked it.
He's a good director. I love his style of movie making.
Yeah, and I did like Planet of the Apes. I've always liked all the Planet of the Apes movies, starting back from Charlton Heston's version. Was Caesar, and I really loved it. The premise of it was fantastic. So was James Franco in it?
Yeah, I think the first two. I think.
Yeah, okay. I
can't remember.
Stand him. I really can't stand him. He's just gag. No, he's a molester. He's a anyway, I don't know. So okay, Matt Reeves, the Batman. So I don't really, Matt Reeves, but sparkly vampire bat boy, which is kind of poetic in its own way. Sparkly vampire bat boy gets cast as the Batman, Robert Pattinson. I have never willingly seen a movie with this pretty boy in it. And even when I have seen a movie with him in it, I have never cared. I've never seen him in it. I was like, oh, was he in that movie? What was he doing? I don't know this movie. Well, because this is my best friend as well as my husband and my lover, I trust what he says. So we went to the movies to see it. Yeah, look, Robert Pattinson is just one of the best actors like ever, because I've now gone and seen the other movies he's in and I'm like, oh my god, this guy's a really good actor. This guy's he is so good as the Batman.
Yeah.
For playing it at the age he is, like, we call him the emo Bruce. You know, he's like, and he's just got this nasty relationship, with Alfred, which is more like because Andy Serkis, who of course everyone knows as Gollum, is his first big thing, and King Kong, and Caesar, because this is
creature actor.
Yeah, he's a creature actor, the ones that have to get all these things, you know, taped, whatever, and green screen and all that. So this is why I never understood them. Then why are you coming outside of it now? Like, why are they casting him? Well, he's actually quite good. He's actually quite a good actor.
And he was Clow in Black Panther.
In Black Panther, yes. So he plays Alfred in Matt Reeves' The Batman with, you know, Batboy Vampire as the Batman. And I gotta tell you, the one thing I've never felt is that fear that Batman is supposed to incite in people who are doing no good, right? So I know, as much as I love Christian Bale is just, when I say sexy, I don't mean in physicality, although I think Christian Bale is gorgeous, and that's also a big plus as to why, you know, and he's one of my favorite white actors, full stop. So, but when he plays it, it's very, he's a ninja. He's very clean. He's very, you know, he's very reserved. He's got this big reserve behind her, and I love it. But emo Bruce is sort of like, oh, you're such an emo. But when he's Batman, when Robert Pattinson plays Batman, it's quite something. And I want you to see this scene because it's really scary. So this is Matt Reeves, the Batman, and this is where we're seeing, we sort of see, and I love the sound, the use of sound, etc. here. This is a terrible scene. This initiation of things, it's terrible.
That is the reality of it.
How are you supposed to think?
Oh my god, like seriously? That, and then there's the scene when, okay, look, I really hate the Gordon, even though he's played by a respected black American actor, but is the dumbest Gordon ever. And I hate it. And it's not Jeffrey Dahmer's fault.
Because Gordon is supposed to be, it was starting to annoy me too.
Oh, I hate it, but it's certainly not the actor's fault. You know, it's terrible. But anyway, yes, Robert Pattinson is really good at what he does. He's an extremely good actor, and as Batman, as Bruce, he annoys me as he should, because this is not the mature Bruce. Yeah. This is Batman starting out, so he's a really bad boy in a grown man's body. But he's emo Bruce, we call him, because he just, you know, he's perfect. The way he carries himself. So when you see him walking in his mansion, in his gothic mansion, it's a bit more gothic looking in this one. He's all hulky and so, you know, and you see his back, and it's really, he's a bulky guy. But when he's in public, he's just, You know, sulky Bruce Wayne, Mr. Playboy. He's no playboy in this. He's just a billionaire, sulky emo goth kind of dude. All right. So it's so good. It's what a wonderful disguise this is. I really, really enjoyed. Look, I know everyone's going on about Zoe Kravitz in this, and there's some classic moments.
So the Batman. There's classic, iconic silhouettes.
Yes.
So Snyder had the Frank Miller silhouettes. You know, so the one in Batman vs Superman, when they were fighting Doomsday.
Yes.
When he's evading Doomsday,
Right.
and there's that pose that Frank Miller made famous.
What Dwayne's talking about, sorry if you're not a comic book fan, is our and sorry, I'm the one that talks to camera. Dwayne doesn't talk to camera.
Sorry, yes.
So that's why, because as far as he's concerned, we're having a conversation. Yeah. So there's a reason why, if you think, why doesn't Dwayne talk as much? When we're not, when we're talking, when we're not here, when you're not viewing, when you're not a part of our, whatever, if I haven't pressed live on this, right, Dwayne and I are talking because we're talking to each other, as you explained to me.
Yeah.
But because I'm an old school television person, I'm very aware, even if I actually forget that I'm talking to people who are watching, I'm used to talking to camera. So I talk to camera because I want you to be included. This is not interactive, but it is inclusive. This is, we're watching this all together. So, but you don't do that. So that's why, when I'm sitting back here, he turns to look at me. He's not going to talk to camera.
Yeah. I'm not you're such a pro.
No, well,
and this is why it's good. This
is my, what I do. But anyway, so, Robert Pattinson is
so the silhouettes in that were great. So Catwoman, Selena.
Yes.
Catwoman.
Yeah.
They kiss on the
rooftop at sunrise.
That silhouette.
Yes.
It's all like iconic Batman stuff,
But I wasn't a fan of Zoe Kravitz as Selena Kyle, and I thought it was overplayed. And because she's what's trending at this moment, I'm sure she's fantastic in everything else. But I just didn't really like this. But again, if we're going to talk about for the time, for the era, for the generation, for the kind of movie that this is, okay. I got it. And I thought that somebody said...
They're younger?
Yes, they're younger, and she's... I don't really know what she's supposed to be. Is she... she goes running through this apartment that she's... And is she having... was she in a relationship with this other girl? And are we meant to believe they're lovers and that's why she's... I don't believe the acting chops of this. It was all just too much. However, Robert Pattinson, like my other favorite actor, Dev Patel, they have a subtlety that is just pure perfection. They don't have to do much. They just blink and a wave of emotion has just been expressed. I love that. Dev Patel and Robert Pattinson. I can't believe that I'm saying this about sparkly Batboy. After I've never watched a single movie, or have, and I didn't know, and now I'm like, oh my God, Robert Pattinson should be James Bond. Robert Pattinson should have acted in this. Robert Pattinson could do this. I don't know, he's a really good actor.
Yeah.
I know, very...
The scene when he's walking to the crime scene.
Okay, that's the scene. We need to see this scene, because this is what I'm talking about in terms of fear. And now, so he walks into how we know the cops do, all the bravado thing. So Gordon in this is obvious about his friendship with the Batman. And so, but the way that Robert Pattinson plays this is, for the first time in my life, I understand, as a Batman fan, the fear that people who should be scared of Batman do feel when they see Batman. Because the other thing that the Joker in Dark Knight says, Heath Ledger's Joker, is that everyone's onto Batman. He's not going to kill anybody. He's not going to kill anyone. So they all know it. Christian Bale's Batman's not going to kill anyone. But what they don't know is this about Robert Pattinson's. I think Robert Pattinson's portrayal of Batman is a little bit of a, well, will he or won't he? He's a little bit of a loose cannon. And it's crazy. There's another great scene, and I'll talk about that later. But this scene, we both love this scene. So please join us in viewing the scene.
They're all looking up,
so brave. You're so brave.
Police action. He's with me, officer. Kidding me, sir? You're gonna let him in here? Martinez.
See, I don't even care that he's got thin lips. Look at these scenes. Iconic. Ooh, it's scary. Oh, so good.
Freak.
Shut up.
But look at him. He looks.
Scary. For me, look, I really hate the Riddler here. I mean, I think it's a little. This is as you had said way back then. This was a detective, so we're gonna. But then there's actually some other scenes in this that I really love. Watch how they film this. Look at how the scene is set. Okay, I'm sorry about these things. Trigger warning, but it's late night, so. But watch just a few more scenes in this.
We got well forced.
Because Batman's supposed to be a shadow. And this is what Pattinson and Reeves do really well in this. Like, watch again, just sort of...
All this blood is from his head? No.
So I love that.
Yeah, he's just appears.
And that's how big he's supposed to look. I love it. But I'm sorry, this is very gory, these scenes, but we'll see a bit more. So he's right here.
There's a life from his car. Ecnosis.
And he's a scientist and a detective.
Yeah.
See, Bruce Wayne is a genius because his father was a scientist doctor, as his mother is supposed to be. You know, something has to be. We have to discuss why does the mother never get talked about?
Yeah.
Except in this movie. So I guess there's one last thing something he does here which I really love, but I think that I'm again worried about that YouTube copyright infringement thing. So I'm talking over. Maybe we can keep the scene. I'm talking over the dialogue so it doesn't get hurt. So now because he's the detective, he can see everything. I don't know where it is, that scene. Maybe it's coming up. But I just love the way he moves.
I think you might be when they find the Riddler's lair.
Right, okay, well I'm going to now turn this back and...
He's a liar too, but he's dead. There's a cipher too.
Anyway, but he solves this. And
Any of this?
it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really love this movie. But only when he's in it. Only when Robert Pattinson as the Batman. He annoys me as Bruce because he's also actually really perfect as Bruce Wayne. And I love the interaction between him and Alfred. That's truly the cold relationship you would expect them to have without really any banter. Just really cold, like, what have you been doing all night while I've been out saving the world kind of thing. That's how he treats Alfred. And Alfred's also a bit like, very cold. And then they have they have the warm moments come out as the movie progresses, of course. But yeah, it's a really good movie. So I guess is that all we're
Yeah, there's a few good ones, like iconic scenes.
Yeah.
So they pay homage to Adam West's Batman. So I think his mask, the nose, the way the nose is cut. So Adam West's mask has white stitches around the nose area, and the shape of the nose on Robert Pattinson's mask is quite similar to
it's that old
Adam West. And when he runs down the building,
right,
he's strapped. So that's an homage to Adam West as well, I think.
Yeah, it may be.
I mean, that's a famous thing in Adam West when him and Robin are climbing.
I've got to tell you one thing. They used to do these cameos with other shows back in the days of Adam West's Batman. So when they used to climb up up the side of this is what you're talking about. Batman and Robin used to climb up the side of buildings to get to the rooftop because the villains are always at the top layer, whatever. So they used to do these cameo things, crossovers. So one crossover, which I remember, was the Green Hornet crossover. I don't remember it personally. I wasn't alive in the 60s. Cool. I was born in 1970, So, but I do know these, and I've seen this one, because the Green Hornet, I can't even remember the guy who played the Green Hornet, but his sidekick was the legendary Bruce Lee. So it was terrible. But he was the sidekick, but he was actually the one, Kato.
Yeah.
He was Kato. And he was actually the one, Remember Kato? Yes.
Even in the new Green Hornet,
Yes.
Kato is the one who kicks ass.
Yes, okay, well, so there you go. And I think Seth Rogen deliberately did that because of how Bruce Lee was not given the proper homage. I'm not sure, I could be projecting on this one.
Sure. It sounds like something he would do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where am I, darling? Where was I with this? Where was I with this?
Homage. Cameos.
Cameos. So I'm sorry, I've digressed. So when they were climbing up, they'd always have stars from other shows, and then in one was Bruce Lee and the guy who played Green Hornet. So they'd do these crossovers. So I thought it was kind of funny.
But so good movie. I liked the Batman.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I can't wait for the next one because the end.
Yes. And the Joker in
Set up
Matt
for the
Reeves' world. Oh, I don't even want to talk about Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. I can't stand that movie because
we like the Joker with no origin story.
Yeah.
Right?
I love. Okay, if we're going to talk about some of the best lines, Alfred's line to Michael Caine's Alfred has one of the best lines about the state of the world. And I think, again, written by Christopher Nolan and his team, his wife and his brother, maybe, about some men just want to see the world burn because they're trying to find out who the Joker is and what are his motives. And what Alfred says to Bruce is that, just because you had the motive to take your goodness to another level, understand that sometimes evil just exists. Mm-hmm. How else, as you said, why else are we still combating so much evil? No pun intended with the combat. Why? You've asked these questions.
Why does it all still exist? Why are we still fighting for the same things we've been fighting for I'm going to say over hundreds of years?
Mm-hmm.
Rights. Why do people have to fight for rights? Who's making these rights? Women are still fighting for the same thing. Black people are still fighting for the same thing. What the fuck? It's just non-stop.
Yeah, but we have movie superheroes to pretend and hope one day that somebody with billions will say, look, no more. I'm going to get myself a tumbler because you bet the U.S. Army have got some incredible things. I mean, Lucius Fox describes it, why it was owned. The tumbler, the Batmobile, is actually an army vehicle, all terrain. You bet they've got these things out. If James Cameron can, go and make some new underwater things that go right to the bottom of the ocean, because he wanted to make a movie, and so people will take, and then it's all possible now. So people will take movie ideas and make these things. Anyway, so if there's a billionaire out there who actually wants to use that money for good, you can go get yourself a tumbler, go around, go fix things.
Yeah.
Surely people can fix things. Why is it always left to the people who can't afford to do this? The people who have to sacrifice things in order to see something good happen in the world. People have to say, well, okay, sacrifice family time and sacrifice pursuing a dream because they can't stand it. We can't stand the injustices in the world, so some of us try and do what we can. And then when you realize that you can do what you can freely, there's so much to do. Like we had talked about, you and I. Okay. Maybe people just like seeing the lives of rich and famous because it's escapist shit. So because people say, well, I'm never going to have that, so I might as well watch these shows. And why people may find what we do boring because we're just, I was going to say normal people, but yeah, actually, I think we're normal. I don't really know what's wrong with everybody else, okay? But okay, so we're not exactly, I know, but we're not famous. I mean, this idea of what fame is, etc., etc. So there's that. And, but we don't, I think we prove one thing, that you don't need fame and riches to have a luxurious life full of love and happiness. I know that sounds trite, and we're talking about Batman and all sorts of crazy things, but what the whole point of this is this guy's a billionaire. He can go and do whatever. He can go and drink his angst away in luxurious places all over the world if he wants to, but the character chooses to use their privilege for good. So, you don't need to, I don't know.
So who you are. It's what you do.
It's what you do that defines you. So, yes, and we're privileged. We're very privileged. And but I feel, is it boring to watch just two people in love and respectful of each other and are best friends and enjoying life, the simple things? I mean, we don't go, look, I have lived a very privileged life, and Dwayne has had pockets of it where we earn money and we go and spend it on, clothes, etc., etc. But both of us, well, certainly I, and particularly me, because I'm very much a person into fashion, I don't use clothing to validate me. So I don't buy a label just so people can recognize. And people don't really know fashion enough to recognize the general public. Only the general public don't know fashion enough to recognize when someone's wearing a particular label. So that's why people like to have their labels shown, so people can go, "Oh, that person's wearing Gucci," or whatever. That person who's wearing Gucci may be starving for 6 months, but they had to get that Gucci. People are so validated by their labels. So what I'm saying is I've lived a very privileged life. I've lived a very luxurious life. I have got designer labels in my wardrobe and stuff, but that's not what makes nothing of that makes any, what I'm saying is Bruce Wayne, with all his privileges of his billions, is an unhappy, angst-ridden, traumatized, never can get rest, will never ever find peace, has to do something about it, so decided the best way to do it was to go fight evil. So there's ways to the happier we are, the simpler joys, the happier we are, the more love we feel, the more we want to save the world, the more I want to just go and do things. And maybe this makes me extra to the person who is not enough. And this is something that Dwayne has made me aware of, and just said very gently, not in that way of like, they're putting down another person in order to make you feel better. I don't need somebody else to be maligned to be made to feel better. But when I've told Dwayne that people have said to me, to my face, "Oh, you're so extra. You make me roll my eyes. You're so extra." And Dwayne said to that, "Well, maybe they're just not enough." And that is the truth of it. Because people who are not enough are always going to see other people as being extra. And people who come from joy and love. And I have suffered the worst trauma experiences. I'm sorry, but that's not how I'm going to lead. I lead with love. I lead with joy. And the happier we are, the more we want to construct platforms of joy where people also find themselves. It's up to you to find happiness, but we can provide opportunities that... Anyway, so this was about Batman Day, and I guess we're still in Batman Day, still before midnight. I don't know how long we've been talking, or me. But are there any other insights you want to? But we love Batman. But Dwayne also knows a lot about the animated series. So that's where he gets a lot of his information from.
Yes.
When Dwayne says because Dwayne doesn't know too much about the comic side of things, except for the artists, etc., etc. I don't really know too much about the artists and the inkers, people like that. And I'll talk with Dwayne about that tomorrow, so that for those of you that don't know what I've just said about inkers and all that and stuff, like ink people, I-N-K, not inkers as in Peruvians, ink people, ink artists. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. But yeah, we're just talking about Batman as a favorite character, and I hope if you've been with us, that you've understood sort of how we view these characters as some sort of a representation of what's happening in society, I guess. So I guess that's us.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've noticed, but my husband has been showcasing his parade of bat logos everywhere.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know, but they may. So I guess that's us for this evening on the Lives of Our Days special edition. It was Batman Day. It still is Batman Day. We've just run down. So these are our favorite villains. So let's keep going. Our favorite villains. Let's see if we can keep talking until like 11:59. So continue with Batman Day. Who are our favorite villains?
Okay, Joker.
Heath Ledger's Joker. Full stop.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Heath Ledger's Joker.
In particular? Okay.
Yeah, in particular.
Okay. Yeah, movies, right?
Yes.
Movies.
Heath
Heath Ledger's Joker.
Heath Ledger's Joker.
Hands down, no contest.
And
Brilliant.
and Anne Hathaway is just my favorite.
Yeah, favorite Catwoman.
Favorite Selena Kyle. I just absolutely love her. So I guess we can't really talk much because we've talked about
I thought the Penguin was good in the Batman.
it.
Colin Farrell.
Yeah, but I don't. What's the point of getting? Well, I guess that's an actor's role. I never quite understand getting an actor to completely make them hide who they are in order to do a character. Why not get someone who fits already the idea of what that character should look like?
Like Danny DeVito.
Yes, Danny DeVito. What a terrible thing to be cast because he looks like the Penguin.
Well, no, you just said the opposite of what you said.
But also, come on, he didn't. It's not that he looked like the Penguin, but he could actually convey what that movie needed to show the Penguin would look like. So you get someone. So this is what I don't understand. It's like getting someone to play a big person and then hiring a thin actor and putting them in a fat suit, or like blackface. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, well, that's weird. Why not just get someone who looks like that? But anyway, Colin Farrell was really good in it. And I've got to tell you one thing. I am late to the Colin Farrell fan party. I've never been a fan of this guy. I'm not sure I still am. But you have convinced me, because I thought this movie was ridiculous. But I saw it for the first time. Dwayne re-saw it. He loves this movie. In Bruges. With, I like this guy, the other guy who was in it.
Yeah, I keep forgetting his name.
Ray, is it? Oh, that, no, I don't know. But In Bruges is a very funny movie. But Colin Farrell plays the guy who is the Penguin. His name?
Oswald
Cobblepot. So is that his name in the Batman? It has to be, right? Because that's the Penguin's, so...
Oz.
Yes, but it's very good. He does it, the portrayal very, very good. And there's a fantastic scene in his nightclub, which I really, really love, when the Batman goes to see Oswald for some information. Because Robert Pattinson's Batman and Matt Reeves' The Batman is a detective, how he was always supposed to be. Not a superhero, a detective who uses a mask to fight crime.
Instill fear.
But also he's solving crimes, and he's so that's what's really, really cool, because he's
Christian Bale too. There were a few scenes where he showed his detecting. But I mean, they all do. All the Batmans have always sat in their bat caves and gone la 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 la, all that stuff. So anyway, I really, really like that. But also Batfleck. He was the dumbest of all the Batman, because what pissed me off was, in Batman v Superman, the beginning, Bruce Wayne is running through Metropolis while the Kryptonians are attacking Metropolis, but he's Bruce Wayne. If he was Batman, he would have been there as Batman.
But see,
he would have known. He would have been at the party, and that destruction would have happened.
The fault of all of this is there is a lack of continuity, really. They're not explaining, where the hell's Diana then?
That's right.
Why isn't Diana out here when the Kryptonians are threatening to ruin the world?
And I'm just like, Bruce would have known all of that.
So that is just director and studio production editing lack of continuity, which I couldn't stand. Plus, I couldn't stand the destruction in those movies. Anyway, so this is our rundown of our Batman movies, and this is we like. We can't really talk about favorite villains because I think we've always said that. We do like...
favorite villains.
It's Heath Ledger as the Joker. Riddler, Jim Carrey's Riddler. Right? That there's some things about him, and he was so perfectly over the top, and such a perfect
again for the movie. But,
that I really enjoyed.
Interesting character though.
Oh, what we hadn't finished, what Dwayne had started saying, is that at the end of the Batman, we then get we get to see what's happening for the next one, and then you get to see and hear the Joker, and played by a very good upcoming actor, who I think is in a movie with Colin Farrell and the same guy from In Bruges, and the same sort of type characters. But he was also one of our favorite characters from the other Marvel movie. The Marvel movies I love are Black Panther, Shang-Chi, and Chloe Zhao's The Eternals. I love The Eternals. You and I could watch The Eternals over and over again. So Barry Keoghan.
I don't know how to say it.
How do you spell it?
K.
Keogh something. I think it's an Irish name, Cohen. So it might be Cohen. I'm sorry if we're getting that wrong, but
Keoghan.
well, it could be Keegan. It could be Cohen. I don't know. Anglo-Saxon names are very confusing at times. There's a lot of things, but what an actor! He was Druig in Eternals, and he's a very, very good actor. He was also in something else. What other movie was he in recently that we saw? Was he in The Green Knight with Dev Patel? Oh, that was a good movie.
Yeah, brilliant.
Brilliant movie, Green Knight with Dev Patel. Oh my God, give Dev Patel a starring action blockbuster already. Kian. All right. Well, Kian.
Kion. Pronounced as Kion.
Yeah, Kion. Kion. Anyway, so there you go. So he plays the Joker. He's going to be playing the Joker in Matt Reeves' The Batman 2 or whatever. But, you know, if Bale and Nolan ever want to resurrect that, absolutely. Because you read some clickbait the other day and got me all excited. He didn't read the article, but it said that Batman to be, whatever.
Talks of Batman 4 or something. With Nolan's,
Nolan releases or something, but he got a bit too excited and said, oh my God. And so here I am reading it thinking that Nolan and Bale are teaming again and there's going to be another Nolan versus Batman, but no. They were just putting in cinemas for Batman Day. Anyway, so that's it. I do have to, it was quite interesting for me, something we've talked about, is that a lot of the Batman stuff, the earlier stuff, was very much about the women characters for me. So how strong the women characters were determined how well I liked that movie. Excuse me, I'm hiccuping. But I loved Christian Bale. Absolutely love Christian Bale. Excuse me, I've got the hiccups.
Would you like some more?
Well, I would. Actually, I've got some more tonight. Oh, sorry.
Would you like some more?
I think I need to stop talking now then. Anyway, thank you very much for being with us. So is there anything more we need to add about Batman?
No.
Oh. But we just wanted to talk about our love for Batman. And we're going to have to find a dedicated day to talk about our other favorite character, Diana.
That's right.
Of Themyscira. And, oh look, I need to show you this. This is that fort. I'm so certain that's that fort in Jay Salma that Bruce, when you see him climb out of what we call the Lazarus Pit.
That's the Lazarus Pit, yeah.
You know, if you're a Batman fan, you know what we're talking about. So, but in Dark Knight Rises, Bruce comes out of something that he's been underground on, and in the background is this fortress that's in Jay Salma, India, and that I have been to, have all, you know, traversed up and walked in and sat in, and it's lovely.
Okay.
Anyway, so that's it.
Yeah.
That's us. Thank you for being here. Or even if you're not here, I really can't believe somebody would have been here all night with us. But so if you're watching this after the fact, thank you very much for watching it. Don't forget to go. Please. Well, don't forget. Oh, come on. Let's just do it. Please, if you could, like our YouTube channel. We do need subscribers for our channel so we can do these lives over there. And also because what's the point of having all this output if no one's seeing it? Even though we don't create for the reason to be seen, the whole point of creating is so that other people can see. Because, you know, we all like to see nice things and see other people's viewpoints and see people's artwork, etc. So that's it. Anyway, see you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye. We're out of here. Hope you enjoyed our lives today. These are the lives of our days. And this was a special edition, Batman Day. And, of course, we were going to go and join the celebrations of Independence Day, but we didn't. However, things happen and we just flow with the go. And hope you do too. Bye. My husband looks like he's about to sleep. Thank you for being here.